That was horrible. What if I came up to you in the middle of the night and I handed you a sheet of paper?
I feel like these episodes always start with you being like, what if I do this thing to you? What if I continue to terrorize you in your day-to-day life?
Do I terrorize you that much?
I don't. At least once a week for this podcast.
I mean, at least once a week or twice a week in the case of this episode.
Oh,
so retracting back. That
was horrible.
What if I came up to you in the middle of the night with a piece of paper?
Okay.
And on that
sleeping sound, hong shu. Oh, I love to sleep. Oh, I'm so peaceful. Oh, it's been such a long day.
Hey, idiot! I brought you this piece of paper.
It's Derek again. I thought I told you to get out of my room.
Hey,
what's this paper for?
Piece of paper. I wrote a little riddle.
What's on this?
You like my little riddle?
Yeah, it's
what does
dark.
It say? Read it.
It's dark. I can't read it. You gotta read this for me.
In your hand holds a piece of paper.
Okay.
Underneath that piece of paper,
Derek, I know you're trying to go method for your southern show you're a part of, but why are you talking with a Western accent?
This is my normal voice when I'm not doing a podcast.
So the podcast is a bit. That's a joke. Yeah, that's your radio voice.
Yeah, you want me to go back to my podcast voice?
No, it's fine. No, you can keep living here.
This is my normal voice.
Okay.
This is what I talk like every day.
So in my hand I hold this. What's the riddle?
In your hand you hold a piece of paper.
I hold a piece of paper. Okay.
Underneath piece of paper you got a piece of paper.
There's two pieces of paper in my hand. Okay.
Fold them together.
Fold them. Okay.
You got a monster. What's that monster?
It's a folded piece of paper.
But he's coming alive. He's gonna get you.
What? He's coming alive in my hands. Whoa, what's happening?
He's a little creature.
Oh, it's kind of just like a head, honestly. It's like a paper head.
No, but it kind of looks like a pumpkin.
I guess it kind of
looks like a pumpkin.
Kind of looks like a pumpkin.
Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkinhead?
Oh my God, it's Pumpkinhead.
Listen, Derek, I would love to tell you to go and trademark this thing right now, but I think it exists, and it's called Pumpkinhead II, Blood Wings from 1994.
That's the worst name for a piece of paper.
I mean, it's a great name.
If you held a piece of paper in your hand, like, this is Blood Wings. I mean, Pumpkinhead II, Blood Wings, 1994.
We should just start naming like children by that prospect, right?
Like how you name movies.
Yeah. This is Paperhead 3. The blood stings, and
this is Paperhead 4.
Like we should start.
Blood hurts.
We should start naming children by online gaming tag conventions, right? Like this is XX Dark Shadow XX.
Surge of Destiny.
That's it. That's the one. Yeah,
everyone
go friend him right now. Flood his inboxes.
I think I changed it.
Actually. Did you? Nah.
Yeah, I did. Because I changed it to the singing chef.
Oh, right. Because he sings and he's a chef.
Yeah.
You need to find a way to put the podcast
I'm not
in there
going to lie,
somehow.
though. That's kind of cringy now. Do you ever look back at things you did years and years ago and you're like...
I looked at things I did literally yesterday and I think about how cringy it was.
What did we do yesterday?
Oh, that's right. We attended the It's Only a Movie Film Festival.
I freaked out even though I was told not to freak out because it's only a movie.
Showcasing local homegrown Utah horror movies.
And we were lucky enough to actually be judges at the festival.
It was crazy.
We've been talking about it
part
for
of a deliberation
on
the results for this thing. We got to help hand out trophies. This is crazy.
It was a lot of fun. We got all the movies ahead of time. We advanced screened them in the morning.
Yeah.
We wrote down our notes.
Derek, that sounds so... We advanced screened the movies.
I mean, what else would you call it?
It just sounds so cool.
We could call it something else. We watched them on my computer that was attached to my
Don't make it.
TV.
That's lame. Yeah, we advanced screened the movies. We had special access to these things.
And we helped pick some winners and stuff.
Yeah.
It was a ton of fun.
It was a lot of fun, really, to get to deliberate and talk about, all these great movies. And they were all such a fun time. Thanks to everybody who submitted to this film festival and made it so it's a thing that can continue to happen, right? We'll see you all next year, I hope. And we'll keep doing this thing if they'll keep having us, if they're not tired of us after this 1 year.
Yeah,
we had our awesome costumes. Derek himself, co-host of the podcast, was dressed up as Van Helsing.
I did that.
And I myself, Isaac, other co-host of the podcast, dressed up as Ash Williams from The Evil Dead, chainsaw and all, covered in a bunch of blood, which was just a bunch of lipstick, really, because it's the best way to do it,
I mean, you did, and I actually thought it was real blood.
Oh yeah,
because I
told him I got in a scrap beforehand. I said, you should see the other guy. He has my hand.
You did say that,
and I have this chainsaw, and he giggled a little bit. He kind of chuckled at me.
I'm a big fan. Everyone was calling you Ash all night. And I wish there was a way we could have been like, no, he's Isaac, co-host of the podcast.
No, nobody knows, please. I'm not Ash. It's not me, please. I'm Isaac. Listen to my podcast. blast.
But yeah, shout out to The Traveler short film, which won the grand prize of the evening. We saw so many cool movies.
Yeah, I think there were about 24 total as a part of this little shindig, and it was great.
I wish we could talk about them all because it was just such a great time.
It's just so cool to see, and it's so inspiring to think about. Like, you don't need to do a ton to make a cool movie. There are obviously some that are like some really high budgets and some really low budgets, and all of them still, by the end of the day, made movies that we watched at a festival and we enjoyed. Like, we had a good time watching and sitting through them.
Yeah, shout out to our friend Archie who invited us to come and hang out.
Yes, thank you so
much.
much.
Have a good time.
And our friend Spencer for connecting us with Archie in the first place, right?
Oh, man. Connections, man. That's how you like live life.
Just make cool friends and keep doing stuff together, you know?
And now, I mean, that was the whole vein of the thing, right? Archie's got this big spiel about like, make sure that you're helping each other out because if you help each other out, then everyone succeeds.
Exactly, right?
And
like,
even if you're not making $1 million doing something, you're succeeding with your friends.
Exactly, right? And keep at it, you know? Make cool stuff with your friends, take care of each other, and something cool can happen. Maybe you can go on to make something big and awesome like that, right?
For sure.
But it's just like, if you're the creative type, like, you know, get along with other like-minded individuals and, you know, help each other out when they need it. Keep in contact. The networking is important. It's really good.
Networking is really important. It keeps us alive.
Yeah, exactly. Just make friends. There's a community for you anywhere, and it's awesome.
It was just such a good experience. We had some fans of the podcast actually come out. Thanks for coming out.
Yes,
it was
absolutely.
awesome.
I got a friendship bracelet.
You did, and I didn't.
It's okay.
No,
we'll get you one.
I didn't. I know you're listening right now, and I love you so much.
This one's for you.
But
exactly.
It hurt. It hurt that Isaac got it. That was horrible.
Derek
bracelet,
and I need matching bracelets, and then we can all have matching bracelets.
Let me monetize my podcast. Not monetize.
Monetize.
Let me wait, what's the word? Submissive. Let me
submit.
Let me subconsciously disrupt the system and take over using the means of my eyeballs.
Whoa.
I'm going to remove my eyeballs from my brain, attach them to a puppet, and then I will walk around as a puppet.
Oh no.
What I was actually trying to say is
you almost had
it. Take it, sponsor? No, what's the word when you market? Market.
Yeah.
I'm going to market the podcast with my wrist.
Yes.
Right now, I can't.
Can't do it.
This the point.
Wrist is empty and naked, and I hate looking at it. It's so gross. Ugh, cover it up.
Hey,
sicko.
I know you're listening right now, and I'm not actually mad at you. I'm just a little jealous.
Yeah, no. He just really wants a friendship bracelet. So if you know Derek, and you'll see him soon, make him a friendship bracelet for That Was Horrible.
Yeah, I don't care what it looks like or what. Like, if you want to just like write it on a piece of paper and tie it on a string.
We've all our podcast is still a baby. Isn't that weird? Like, we have not been around for that long, but we've already had things like this. Like, someone made a friendship bracelet. We've had like fan art for things, right? Fan art. Yeah, we had a friend who had drawn up the I shot Jim Davis, and all I got was his stupid shirt. Yes. It was so funny. It's so great. Funny. And we really, really appreciate all of that. Thank you very much to anybody who has contributed to that.
The lawyers have informed me that I need to let everyone know we are not going to shoot Jim Davis.
We're not.
Yeah, we have no harm towards
Hello,
Jim
Mr.
Davis.
Lawyer. Law lawyer man? Is that really your name?
You got doing it. Okay, it's me, lawyer
Law
man.
lawyer man, yeah.
Hey, you got that sandwich you promised me for coming
we got
here?
you. I hope. Do you like mayo?
No, we didn't. You're not pretending to be your lawyer. You are my lawyer.
No, I'm
Derek, can I get an aside real quick?
Yeah, what's up?
Derek, is this guy actually a mayor?
Oh, yeah.
Or a mayor? A lawyer?
Wait,
he's the lawyer and the mayor.
He looks like the mayor of Sandy. No,
hold on.
This mayor of Sandy is awesome. I actually talked to her the other day.
Derek, look at Derek, big in the world, talking to mayors now.
I did, but that wasn't like a flex. I just thought it was a funny thought of like, I'm like talking to the mayor of a city in our state. And
that
I'm
is
just
pretty wild.
Hey, do you like horror movies?
I've never talked to anybody super important. The most important person I've talked to at my job was a lady who at one point held the Jonas Brothers underwear in her purse.
That is so cool.
Yeah. No, she was like the one that would drive them from like the airport to their venue. And so she was in charge of like helping them out. She's like anything they need. And so their manager was like, hey, they desperately need underwear. I don't know. I don't know at what point the Jonas Brothers were at. Could they just not do any laundry? Did they burn through all the rest of it? But they needed underwear before the show.
Here's the thing about the Jonas Brothers. So they're brothers, right? Wink,
they are
wink.
brothers.
They kiss a lot.
So we think.
So
the big news likes to tell us they're brothers. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, Big Pharma and Big News teamed up to make Jonas Brother
Big
capsules.
Pharma trying to convince us the Jonas Brothers are brothers so that they can sell more drugs.
The craziest thing that ever happened to me is I talked to a guy for 2 hours once. I was selling guitars, and I talked to him for about 2 hours, and he was convincing me that he wrote the song Hotel California.
That's right. You told me this story.
It was the weirdest day of my life. And he
was,
got
like,
me to
ripped off
believe
or
him
what?
a little bit. Yeah, he was like writing it. And then the guy who actually wrote it was there, and he like stole it from him, and it was a whole thing. Yeah, that's probably not
Kind of
true.
tough where it's like, I don't know. It could have happened. Maybe I wasn't
this is
there.
Your lawyer again. I'm here to tell you.
Law
Can't,
lawyer
can't
man,
be saying
hello.
that. Can't be saying
Okay,
that.
sorry.
All right.
Sorry, law lawyer
you
man.
actually a lawyer?
Here's your mayo sandwich again. I don't know why he keeps having us make him sandwiches with just mayo
Yeah,
and
on rye
bread.
bread.
That's it. And rye bread. So specific, right? It has to be rye.
And I think it's because, there he is. He's pulling
Mayo.
a sack of corned beef out of his pocket.
What
right
is
now.
he doing with that
I
corned
don't know,
beef?
but does he know Reubens have Thousand Island on him? And
I
usually like a little sauerkraut.
I don't think he knows. I don't think he cares either. He looks very happy with
Oh my
this.
gosh. Ew, he's like
this
licking it
situation.
up.
I don't
Wait,
wanna-
he's eating the corned beef like fries.
No, wait. So it's the sandwich and the corned beef on the side.
What? What is happening?
Yeah, can I get a side of corned beef with that?
He just sucked it up his nose. What?
Oh god! Oh
Okay,
no! It's a
Have you
mess.
ever thought,
We're gonna have to
one more
clean that up.
tangent, we started it.
Sure,
at
yeah,
the
we're only
festival
on like
yesterday.
tangent 12 of like 20 probably.
Why not go the distance?
Well, you know, ¿por qué
why
no
not
los
be like
dos?
Hercules?
Why not all of them?
Why not be like the Herc?
So what's
go the
what's your tangent here?
What if
Herc?
we ate with our nose and breathed with our mouth?
I would despise that. Oh, the thought of that
Like,
hurts me.
Okay, so imagine like you know
we would
how
have to eat in like small doses because our like nasal passages aren't as big as our throat is. So yeah, it's like little teeny bites. So do you think that means it would take us a lot longer to eat food, or would we make really little food?
we
if
would
that's
make
the
really
world
little
we
food.
lived in.
Everyone would be so skinny.
Imagine little sandwiches.
Everyone would be so cute and
But
little skinny.
So
I'm
wait,
not cute.
But now imagine this creature that we are creating now, because it would have to have like little mouths with teeth for the
Yep,
noses,
that's it.
the nostrils, and then one big hole for the
one big hole, and the hole like opens and closes. Like think of the cocula on a chicken.
Oh,
it kind of like
no.
opens.
No, this is awful. It's always moving like that,
And you
Ugh.
talk with your eyes.
And you would see there would be a bunch of like hairs in it too, because you have hairs in your nose.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ew.
gross.
But you talk with your eyes, right?
Yeah.
So like one mouth
Wait.
does each syllable.
Wait, you talk
So-
with your eyes.
yeah.
Then what does the nose mouth do?
The nose mouth is just for eating. Because
So
you
you have two. So where are the eyes? If you have nose for
on your ears, my guy.
nose for eating,
We are
mouth,
fish.
mouth for eyes.
Yeah, and then your ears are fish.
Ears are.
I mean,
well, now hold on.
your ears are eyes. So like
So are we people or are we fish now?
we have terrible forward vision, but everyone's got that peripheral vision.
Yeah,
That is
exactly.
just stellar.
It's fantastic. Yeah, but no
So
one
you get
can
it?
see a damn thing in front
So
of them.
like you sound like
so cars have to go like sideways now so we can drive, right?
yeah, but that was easy. That
That's
was like an
that's
easy,
fix. Everyone's like took the cars and was like, wait, it's all good now.
So I think this is like a Mandela effect situation because I feel like I've met someone with their eyes where their ears are supposed to be.
Yeah, of course.
Like-
We've all met someone like that.
And I think I just teleported into the wrong universe. So I'm gonna get out of here.
Jesus.
So anyway, we had a great time at that festival. Thanks for
Is
those
that
of you who where we
we
supported us.
started?
Yeah, we did.
We were talking about the festival.
We were talking about the festival.
Oh man,
The
thanks
King's
to everybody for
Festival.
showing up. There were awesome costumes. It was a great time.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And really just showcased how much horror love there is in Utah.
The horror scene
because
is
all
here.
of those movies were filmed and made by people in Utah.
Yeah, it's great.
Like no exceptions either. I think Archie,
I think
who was heading the festival, told us that they all
Yeah.
were at least filmed in Utah,
Which is great.
So, which was fantastic. Most of the people who made them were there.
Uh-huh.
It was awesome to see people like showing their films off and looking so proud.
it was so fun to like see them. Like it was really cute to see them like all nervous too. We met a couple
Yeah.
people who were like so scared, and we were like, "Your movie was great." Like, what are you talking about?
the winner who wrote The Traveler, he didn't realize he won when we read his
It was
name
actually
off.
the sweetest moment.
And he was so shocked.
yeah,
But
he didn't stand up because he couldn't believe that he had won. Right?
Listen, it was a hard decision to come down to that. But at the end of the day, his short was like 3 minutes long. It was scary. It was different. It
Yeah.
subverted our expectations.
It was really neat.
It was like the only obvious winner in my eyes.
Well done for such a short
Yes.
team of people working on it.
And
you
I
know?
wonder if part of why I loved it so much was because it gave me hope for myself. Because I've been
Yes.
I've wanted to make movies my whole life.
I mean, listen,
and then
you make a
watching that-
podcast about reviewing horror movies.
Yeah.
Eventually, if you give two white guys a podcast about reviewing horror movies, they're gonna want to make a horror movie.
I mean, look at one of my favorite reviewers, Chris Stuckman.
Yeah.
He's been reviewing horror movies for years, just movies in general, and he's coming out with a horror movie soon.
See?
It's like
It
it's
happens.
like, it makes sense. You watch enough of the content, you take it in, you're gonna want to create it yourself.
Yeah. One of my favorite bits about it was there were actually 3 submissions from the same girl, and like
Yes.
2 of them were from way in her early days
Yes.
of like making movies.
I love this.
And it was a pair, right? Like it's like her and her high school friends, and just like making stuff on iMovie in their grandpa's basement,
Yeah.
And then she made a really great one. I mean, like they're all great, but she made one that like clearly shows how far she's come.
Yes.
And she's still doing them. That was Yvonne Bass who did wonderfully at the
Yeah, she was
festival.
awesome.
It's just really cool to see, like, if you're scared to try something, try it out, make a thing, and then make another thing, and keep getting better with each go. The worst thing you can do is just stop and not make anything, right? So that's
how
my
I
high
feel
horse
too.
about it. Like, just do things, try it out. It'll be really fun.
You never know if you're going to succeed or not unless you try.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that is us.
Yeah.
Right? Like I would say that what we have accomplished is a success for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I would call
Like,
this a success, right?
I am having a great time. We have people who love it. We love it. And that is great for us.
And even if I if in the future I come back and look at this like with any sort of cringe in my body, it's like I like having things like that in my past so that I can see where I've come, right?
Oh yeah.
Like it's like on your Facebook where you have all these old pictures of yourself and they're
don't
the
even.
worst thing ever. You're like, I need to go delete all of these. But I don't want to, just because it's like I like to see that that's where I was and
Yeah.
I'm not there anymore, right? Like I've changed and grown.
Absolutely.
I feel like everyone should go through these phases, and like I have no shame in trying things, and doing stuff.
Oh yeah, and I feel like it's even kind of happening to me with this podcast a little bit, like not even in a bad way. Like I'm proud of what we've done and what we've accomplished.
Yeah.
But I look back at like our first episode, Slenderman, and I'm like, wow, I was not comfortable. Not really though. Like I had talked in front of microphones.
We
my
had
whole
no
life,
idea
but, like,
exactly what to do as a podcast.
Yeah,
right? This is
we
both of
were-
our first forays really into this.
For sure. And I mean, I tried it before, but it never ever panned out. Never even published an episode.
Yeah.
And then I looked forward. I listened to a little bit of Bawhead, the Rawhead
Bawhead
Rex
Bex,
episode.
yeah.
And I created that character in that episode, and it was making me cringe a little bit. I was like, "Wow,
Why am I doing
why
this?
am I doing that? This isn't content." But like, Bawhead is like classic in my mind.
Yeah,
right?
Brawhead's one of the OG. Like we're creating monsters on this show.
You really are.
Characters and monsters. Even Science Jim himself, who started. Well, I don't know if he started out human, but he.
What do you want from me?
You're
I've
a
been
creature from hell, so you're
I
technically a
know,
monster
I
in a
know.
sense.
Listen, being trapped in this vessel and sitting on your freaking doorstep all day. Hey, did I tell you I found love?
You found what? You found love.
You know?
Science Jim.
So
this is great.
Here's the thing.
Derek, did you know Science Jim found love?
Science, what are you talking about?
Shut up. You just
Oh,
shove your
no,
hand
he's
up my
mad
butt.
again.
I don't like this guy.
I thought love would help you get a little
I'll be
less
friendly.
abrasive.
I'll be friendly with everybody with the guy who shoves his hand up my ass.
That's fair. That's honest. You deserve that.
Here's the thing. I found love. My friend Seth, he came over. He's my friend. And his girlfriend, she gave me a little kiss on the cheek. And let me tell you, it sparked something in me. So I went on puppetmatch.com.
Puppetmatch.com. So what'd you find there? Who's your special someone? Huh?
I went on puppetmatch.com and I went through some processes.
I don't know how to tell you this. You might have gotten to some scary dark website that has been since removed because puppetmatch.com cannot be reached.
It's not
anymore.
.com anymore. They had to shut it down because of piracy. It's now puppetmatch.ta.
Puppetmanpatch.ta. Got it. Puppetmanpatch.ta.
Anyway, I met a really nice girl.
zero
Her name
results.
is Math Jane.
Math Jane.
Yeah, she's
Well,
on
I'm glad you didn't meet Meth Jane because her sister is crazy.
Well, it's okay. She's doing well, actually. She just came out of treatment.
okay, good. Good for
she's on the up
good
and
for
up.
Meth Jane. They might have to change her name a little bit.
Probably.
What about Beth Jane? Does that work for her? You should. My people will reach out to her people. It's fine.
No, she's too close to Mary Jane, which Derek found out was weed a few episodes ago. Anyway, she's a math teacher at a podcast.
A math puppet on a podcast.
Math puppet on a podcast.
Math puppet
Whoa,
on a
Science Jim, did you
podcast.
sing? Yeah, I got kissed. Shut up, you asshole.
Whoa,
Bye.
he's singing. He's in love.
Science Jim's a little bit in love.
Derek, we have gone so long not talking about the point of
you
this.
know, I actually had a segue.
What's your segue?
I had a segue and then I got distracted. My segue was talking about the Bawhead Bex episode.
Okay,
And I was
yes.
going to be like, the reason I went to do that is because we were about to watch Pumpkinhead II, Blood Wings, which had a very similar vibe.
Blood Wings.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen.
we're back. That was a was a decent segue here.
You know what I'm sad about?
What are you sad about?
It's the last day of sequel month. It's the last day.
It's the last
of
sequel
horror
of sequel month. But you
of
know
Halloween.
what today is? If you're choosing to listen to today on October 31st of 2023.
Holidays months don't go to 31.
They do this time. Because you know what's 31 backwards?
1
13.
That's right.
Did I scare
3.
you?
I forgot that 30 starts with 3. Sorry,
Yeah,
that's
so-
my
so
bad.
yeah, it's,
if only Math Jim
October
was here.
31st. It is also Halloween.
Math Jim.
Ooh.
Yes, it is, and we have a 2-for episode for you today.
Yeah, so once you finish up this, so go ahead and move on over
Yeah,
next
go
door
ahead-
and
go ahead
go
and
and
take a
listen to the next episode that we got about a Halloween movie. It's going to be great.
And if you're listening to this after listening to that one, why'd you do it in that order?
That's strange.
Why'd you do it in that order?
I
man?
mean, I guess it
What?
really doesn't matter, but
No.
like now we've established that
No,
through-
canonically?
through the
Canonically.
continuity of the show, it
Whoa.
has to go this one, episode 38,
I'm wearing-
almost 40. We're getting up there.
I'm wearing glasses today,
Uh-huh.
and I took them off, and I didn't realize how dirty my glasses were because I can't see anything anymore. But it's like way clear.
That's weird. It's like that's such a strange it's blurry,
It's blurrier,
but there's not so much in
clearer.
front of you. That is weird. That's a strange experience.
Yeah, I hate it.
You feeling
Pumpkinhead 2
smart? Pumpkinhead 2.
came out.
Did you watch Pumpkinhead 2 with your glasses on with
I
the
did.
smudges?
I cleaned them.
Okay.
Well, and I just cleaned them again, and now everything's clear.
I
and
can see
not blurry.
clearly now the
my glasses on.
Pumpkinhead.
All right, I think you're thinking what I'm
all
thinking.
the
I think
teenagers
you're thinking what I'm thinking.
dead. Are we thinking what I'm thinking?
You're
Okay.
thinking what I'm thinking. Okay, ready?
Okay, ready.
1, 3, 2.
1. Decapitation.
We lied last time and made that bit up.
We lied. Oh, you're gonna out us right here now? Oh no. I'm very curious
Listen,
who
I'm
here
guilty.
listened to us do that bit and actually felt it was genuine. Because when I did it, it felt so fake.
It felt so fake.
we tried our damnedest to
Demonic
make it work.
karaoke.
Yeah, demonic karaoke was a fake bit. We're here. We're sorry.
We're
Here's our
sorry.
apology
Listen, this
video.
is-
And now Derek's gonna sing a song while I accompany him on the ukulele.
I'm sorry, I apologize for every time I lied to you, which was only one time, and it wasn't really a lie. I just pretended and did a bit. It's called acting. I mean, I guess we didn't lie.
We don't do fake bits
No.
ever. This is the only time we actually sat and we're like, wouldn't this be a stupid thing to
That
do?
was like the first time we didn't improv.
Yeah.
It was so weird. And I
you
think
know
that's
what?
why I don't
We're
actually
sorry.
feel guilty.
We apologize to the horror community, all of our horrible horrorites. Is that a thing?
What?
What are our fans? Do we have a name for the
Oh
fans?
my gosh, we don't.
No. The
What should it be?
horrorlings?
No,
No.
that's dumb.
No.
I hated that.
We'll think of something.
Probably the werewolves from London.
No, absolutely not. Moving on. We watched Pumpkinhead 2. Derek, have you
Hey, give us your suggestions for what our fans should be called.
Sure,
I would
yeah.
love to hear what people
all your
come
suggestions. Give us your suggestions for what the next movie is, what
No,
the fans should
no,
be called,
no.
who
One
should
thing at a
replace
time.
Derek when
Wow.
I eventually kill him.
Wow! Wow!
When he keeps bringing Tim the Timothy Man, whatever, into the podcast.
Who's that?
No one I
don't
ever,
know who that is.
No one I ever want to hear from again. Derek, have you ever watched Pumpkinhead 1?
No.
Oh, interesting. Wow, that's
Have
funny.
you ever watched Pumpkinhead?
Well, now you put me on the spot here. Maybe never. Maybe I haven't watched Pumpkinhead 1. But Derek, do these movies really have a lot in common between each other? Pumpkinhead 1 and 2, Blood Wings.
Keep away from Pumpkinhead.
Oh,
Unless you're tired of living.
what do
His
you?
enemies are mostly dead. He's
wow.
mean and unforgiving.
Did someone let Scrippy Scripto
Laugh
into the
at
room?
him and you're undone, but in some dreadful fashion. Vengeance he considers fun and plans it with a passion. Time will not erase or blot a plot that he has brewing. It's when you think that he's forgot, he'll conjure your undoing. Bolted doors and windows barred, guard dogs prowling in the yard. Won't protect you in your bed. Nothing will from Pumpkinhead.
So that was a poem by Ed.
Yeah. So what was
Justin.
that?
Ed, that's so fun. Kind of give me chills a little bit.
was cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
So
we should narrate just horror stories now.
oh my gosh, our good friend Tynan actually has a podcast called The Poe Show.
The Poe Show.
Where he does that all the
check that
time.
out.
And I'm huge fans of his. We hope to do some collabs with him in the future because
absolutely.
I've listened to a few of his episodes and they are just so much fun. He
could be
does his
fun.
own music and everything.
It's
Go
nuts.
check it out. It is such a fun podcast.
Yeah, the Poe Show,
but anyway,
like Edgar
Pumpkinhead.
Allan Poe. You know,
Yeah, not like polka dots.
or like Poe from Kung Fu Panda. Can we start our own rival podcast where we just talk about
Where we give DreamWorks movies in dramatic fashion.
Yes, exactly. We just read through the scripts of Kung Fu Panda,
Wait,
but
hold on.
dramatic retellings of the Kung Fu Panda movies.
This has to happen now.
And then we'll probably spin it. Eventually, we'll run out of Kung Fu Panda material. So then we'll just do all of Jack Black's work. So we're going to do like School of Rock and then what is it? Gulliver's Travels. What was that one he was in? I forget.
Gulliver's
Well, I can't think of
Travels.
any Jack Black movies right now. Not Julie Bray.
No. He was Thor, right?
Oh yeah,
in Thor Ragnarok.
He's Thor. Yeah, he's Thagnarok.
Okay, ready? In voiceover.
Okay.
Legend tells of a narrator.
Wow, you're so good at this.
A legendary warrior
Wow, Derek,
whose
you're
kung
so
fu
good at
skills
this.
were the stuff of legend. He travels lands and
Okay, this is a stupid bit.
No,
I'm
exactly.
done.
Go
I'm
listen
done.
to the
I'm
Better
out.
Poe show.
Yeah.
We've ruined the other one. It's not available anymore. Go listen to the good one.
So that poem that I read earlier, which was so fun to read,
So
I
spooky.
I just liked reading it. Ed Justin wrote that. He's a poet. They then took that poem and created a creature out of it, and then made Pumpkinhead. So they used the poem throughout the movie. What the?
I'm just so intrigued. I'm so excited. This is so exciting, Derek. Tell me more. Tell me more, Papa.
It's interesting because the poem was not written specifically for the film, nor did it have any like revenge plot or anything or any relation to the
took
demon.
it and ran away with it.
Yeah, they
right?
literally were just like, "Oh, that will be cool. I'm gonna make this creature."
So basically, all they took is like the Pumpkinhead as a name.
yeah,
Which is a cool concept.
it's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
I really like it though. But yeah, that's the
So that's how
mythos.
Pumpkinhead 1 came to be.
That's how Pumpkinhead 1 came to be.
And then
we
somebody else
didn't
got their
watch
hands on Pumpkinhead 2, and they really only in creature and name alone do they have any similarities between them, right?
Yeah, that's literally the only thing that
It
they
kind of
have in
creates its
common.
own lore beyond anything in Pumpkinhead 1, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, it kind of felt like the situation where they're like, "Hey, there wasn't enough lore in the first one. Let's give it some lore."
Let's give it some lore.
And I mean, I can't speak to that fully because I never saw the first one.
Right,
but
of course.
I do plan on going and seeing the first one.
We're talking out of our
I hope
asses
no one's
right
mad
now.
at me.
I'm
Well,
talking.
if you're mad at me,
well, he's talking out of his ass. I'm
sorry.
talking out of my eye mouths. I think because that's what they used to talk right
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And
Yeah,
Derek's sitting next to me, so I can see him with my ear eyes. And that
you're
works
wearing
out.
headphones that go over
Wait, where do the ears go?
Shit.
We didn't figure out where the ears go.
Wait,
So
you're right.
nose is mouth.
Nose is mouth.
Mouth is nose,
Mouth is
and,
nose
eyes.
and eyes.
Because we have two separate sets of mouths now. Eyes for ears. Where do the ears go? Ears is the hair.
Ears is the hair.
Ears is the hair.
Oh my god.
Oh, I hear
yeah.
everything.
And every time you get a haircut, it's very unpleasant.
Oh yeah, no, there's a lot of blood. It's terrible.
Oh, and imagine how the razor sounds. Just like
Oh no. You can hear every bit of it. That's
that is an
awful.
actual nightmare.
That's terrifying.
So Pumpkinhead 2 Blood Wings
Blood
was
Wings.
released direct to video on October 19th, 1994.
This does not surprise me. I am not
No.
surprised by this.
There is absolutely no reference to the budget or how much it made.
They don't want you to know. We don't need to know.
But as a video game came out around the same time that basically just took
I
all of the
cannot
video.
believe that
all
this
of-
video game exists.
Yeah, we looked at it. It's like a Doom clone.
Yeah.
But they have like the clips from the movie put between gameplay sections.
Yeah.
But then you're like literally just playing Doom.
It's like a separate game that really looks like it has absolutely nothing to do with it. The UI
yeah.
doesn't look like it matches. Like, what is going on here?
yeah, I recommend going and looking up Blood Wings Pumpkinhead's Revenge on YouTube
Oh,
because
man.
it is hilarious.
It's a time for sure.
For sure.
For sure.
Rotten Tomatoes gave this movie a 13. They didn't give it to him. It is currently sitting at 13% for the critics, 20% for the audience. Letterboxd is sitting at a 2.4, and IMDb is sitting at a 4.6.
Yeah, all pretty low, pretty down there. And I know the Pumpkinhead 1 was better than that one, but I don't think it's like sitting anywhere like incredibly high. I want to say it's sitting at like a 65 right now.
That's
on
not too
Rotten
bad.
Tomatoes.
I mean that's 50% more.
Very,
right?
very much watchable, you know. And I think people enjoy it. I've always liked the Pumpkinhead as a concept because I really liked the design of Pumpkinhead.
Yeah, me
which
too.
does look an awful lot like a xenomorph.
It really does.
It really, really looks like a xenomorph. Just gonna say, just you know, just keep that in mind, you know.
Just keep that in mind for later. Why? Does Count Trivia have something to say?
I don't know. Maybe
Does Count Trivia have something to say? Because I didn't say anything about it because I was expecting it was expecting Count Trivia. I kind of lost it a little bit there. Did you hear me losing my mind?
I kind of heard you losing it.
Well, I won't tell you what I was going to say. We'll keep that for discount trivia then.
Mm-hmm. No, you say. I don't actually have a count trivia bit for that.
Wait, you don't? You're lying to me?
No.
Okay.
I wasn't lying. I just said nothing.
Stan Winston was the creator of the Pumpkinhead monster. He also did the special effects and the design for Alien, the Alien Queen in Aliens specifically, not in Alien, but in Aliens.
Yeah.
He also did the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park and the endoskeleton in Terminator.
And mind you, while I do say that like the design for Pumpkinhead looks a lot like the xenomorph, he was not technically the one that designed the xenomorph, right?
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
But he worked on it. So he was like very, very much inspired by the works of Geiger.
No, that actually works. But yeah, exactly.
So,
H.R. Geiger. H.R. Geiger.
How do you pronounce that?
Geiger. I think it's Geiger because there's like the Geiger scale, right?
The Geiger counter? I don't think Geiger counter and H.R. Geiger have anything to do with each other.
But they should.
No.
I think they should.
Do you know what a Geiger counter is?
No, I think the two of these things should go together, right? Absolutely.
Well, I kind of want a Geiger counter that looks like, oh my gosh, yep, it exists. I looked it up. There's a Geiger counter that is a xenomorph.
Oh my God. That's incredible.
Okay, wait, shout outs to Steve DeGroof on Mad Art Lab who created this Geiger counter. That is so funny.
That's hilarious.
Well,
props to you.
Props to you. I mean, props because it's a prop.
True. That was a pun. Totally intended.
So
totally
Pumpkinhead 2 Blood Wings was directed by Jeff Burr. It was written by Ivan Kakornia and Konstantin Kakornia and Andrew Osborne. We got a threefold team
That's
here.
a lot of people coming in on this one.
So Ivan and Konstantin Kakornia, I'm assuming they're married or something, or brother and sister, or not at all. Maybe they just met each other on the street.
But whoa, that's so weird. I thought someone was playing a trick on me. You're a Kakornia. Yeah, I'm a Kakornia.
Hey, you want to write a movie together?
I'm writing a movie
Let's
together.
write a movie together.
Write a movie. I'm Kakornia.
I am Kakornia. Let's only write one movie and then have it suck and never do anything in film again. Yeah, because that's exactly what happened. If you look at their IMDb pages, they've literally only written and produced Pumpkinhead 2 Blood Wings.
Only thing is Pumpkinhead 2 Blood
Both
Wings.
of them.
Just say it quick. Pumpkinhead 2 Blood Wings.
Pumpkinhead
2 Blood Wings. Say that 10 times fast.
I can't even say it one time fast. How do you expect me to say something 10 times fast?
Pumpkinhead 2 Blood Wings.
Yeah, you can't do it either.
Pumpkinhead 2 Blood Wings. Pumpkinhead 2 Blood Wings.
Andrew Osborne also wrote this movie. What the heck? What was that? You want to explain yourself?
I'm losing it. I can't do it.
I'm losing it. Andrew Osborne was the third writer for this movie. Let me tell you something. He has not done much.
Ooh.
I don't recognize anything. He did Cash Cab, the TV show.
Of course, yeah. I love that. Sure, absolutely. I watch that all the time.
Isn't that the one where they would like get in the cab and it'd be like,
and there's cash? Yeah, there's probably cash in the cab, I bet. A cash cab? You know when there's a cab and there's cash in it? Is a cash cab.
Gilbert Godfrey? Oh, right. He got in the cab. I thought it was saying he was a writer. Okay, how do you write for a show like this? How do you write for a show where someone gets in a cab? Are you insinuating that it's fake?
No.
Are you telling me right now?
No
right
way.
now, Derek Wayman, this guy. Oh, my last name. Are you telling me that this
co-host of the podcast? Wait, I thought your last name was co-host of the podcast, all one word. Derek, co-host of the podcast? I thought Wayman was your middle name.
And here's my son, Jim Bob, co-host of the podcast.
Jim Bob, co-host of the podcast.
Hey, man, Jim Bob, go ahead. Podcast real good.
I think it was Billy Bob.
Yeah, but he's his brother.
Oh, okay. So, they're brothers.
Yeah, well, like brothers by blood.
Billy Bob and Jim Bob.
They're Bloodwing brothers.
They're Bloodwing brothers.
And that was the title of this movie. Wait, so... Oh, well, there's questions that they ask on Cash Cab.
I guess, yeah, that makes
I've never
sense.
actually watched an episode of this. I just know it from like
I highly doubt a
stuff.
lot of those reality TV whatever shows are completely improvised, no script whatsoever. Like,
I don't know, man. Our show
sound
is
feasible for us.
Our show, though, is completely improvised. And
Derek,
it's very obvious.
Hey, Derek, that's not what the script doesn't say that. The script says you go into, what do you go into here?
When do I talk?
You go into
but look down a few lines. This is
Okay.
totally improvised.
Okay, well, you skipped a couple lines, but no, it's completely improvised. You
you got to be able to flow with me, man.
I'm flowing.
Can we step aside real quick? Producers meeting.
Okay, producers meeting. Yeah.
Yes, me producer. Okay, I'm done.
Is it still Derek with a voice?
Yeah, shut up. Okay, so it was also directed by Jeff Burr. Jeff Burr has not done too much. Unfortunately, he did pass away about 20 days ago.
Quite recently, yeah.
Yeah, so rest in peace.
So yeah, this one goes out to you, Jeff Burr, and all your loved ones.
He did Frankenstein and the Werewolf Reborn.
Whoa.
Which I feel like we've talked about on this podcast
I feel
before.
like it's come up. I feel like it's definitely
don't know
been mentioned.
why. Maybe David Duchovny did it with him. Who's that guy? Who's this guy? He do anything fun? Puppet Master do any movies I've seen? Probably not. But anyway, the point is Jeff Burr has not done a lot. What he has done a lot of, though, is sequels. That's like what he is known for.
So what a great way to end sequel month.
Yeah.
With Jeff Burr and his sequels.
Because he did Stepfather 2.
I feel like that'd be a great name for like Jeff Burr's band. It's like Jeff Burr and the sequels. They're like his backup dancers.
You're not going to hear me when I...
No, sorry. What are you saying? I was thinking about an awesome band about Jeff Burr and the sequels. You know? Jeff Burr and the Burrettes.
Two girls for every dad.
What?
He's got sequels. Oh, right. I was talking about Stepfathers, and then I crossed the streams.
Oh, my God.
This is the problem with
Stepfathers.
This is why we need a script.
The sequel?
Make room for daddy.
I don't like that subtitle at all.
I didn't make it, dude. It wasn't me. Don't
I
yell at me.
dislike that.
He did make one called Bloody Blacksmith, which sounds fun.
Bloody Blacksmith?
Yeah.
What's going on there? Is there a blacksmith and there's blood?
Is there a blacksmith and there's blood? I would assume so.
I'd hope so.
Is that? No.
Is it? Could it be? But it looks just like. I don't know what you're saying.
You know, sometimes I go on these tangents and you're like, Derek, I'm going to yes and you. And then other times you're like, Derek, stop.
You go. I tried to yes and you. You stopped it.
Sometimes you need to just stop.
Sometimes I say, Derek, give me the rest of your information about this movie.
He also wrote a sequel to Tornado called Tornado Warning.
It should have just been Tornadoes, that's plural. It's like, oh, this movie was so scary. I'm glad there was only one tornado. Then Tornadoes comes out. You're like, oh, God.
No, there's two tornadoes.
There's two this time. They're twisting so much.
Oh, Scoob, there's two tornadoes.
Like Scoob.
Reggie, Roro.
That wasn't bad. That was a pretty good Scooby. Are we going to keep doing Scooby shit on the show?
We have to. Let me tell you. Isaac, sidebar real quick.
Okay, we're sidebarring.
When you signed that contract, you said you would do Scooby-Doo at least once an episode.
At least once a month. I said once a month.
Episode.
Once an episode.
Read the fine print, dude.
You can make me do it, but you can't make me do it well. I don't do it for free. This is a gift. My Roro Raggy. That's you gotta pay for that. That's my hard earned. That's my money maker. That's what keeps bread on the table for my kids.
I go to school every day to work, and then
I go to school every day to work.
And when I come home, I expect 3 Scooby-Doo impressions every hour.
And if I don't get Scooby impressions on the table, hot and ready when I get home.
I call them my Raggy Rhoda. It's like Shaggy Quota.
Shaggy Quota.
Okay, expectations.
Okay, wait, hold on. We got to talk about the review is.
That's right. I don't ever make a podcast.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. So critics reviews from Pumpkinhead II Blood Wings. So Scott Weinberg of DVDTalk.com.
That was going to be my first one.
I stole it from you. He says, a solid body count, some gruesome gore, and a few familiar faces to keep the thing moving along smoothly. That's a positive review.
Mike McGranahan says,
I was just about to say you took mine, but I'm going for a different mic.
What?
Yeah. More than the one mic.
You are. This one's from Aisle Seat. Mm-hmm. He says, with his 1.5 score review, it would be not fair to call this movie so bad it's good, because quite frankly, it's so bad it's awful.
Do you ever notice how these things are on scales that differ from each other?
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
just said 1.5 out of 4, and I'm looking at one that says 2 out of 10. There's another 2 out of 4. Like, how do the 3 out of 5? Like, why are they all different?
Because everyone has a different way of looking at things.
That's fine. You
know, I mean, if we are ever on, God help the world, if we are ever on Rotten Tomatoes, it's going to be like, this was horrible.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you scale that, huh?
It's true.
Would that be like if it is
it'd be like on a scale from
like
1 to
50?
horrible or something, like you do all of your scales.
What do you mean?
So Mike Massey from Gone with the Twins says there was only one fresh review on this. The rest of them are all rotten.
Yeah.
Perhaps the only elements done with moderate amusement are the creature effects, which are almost solely attributable to the Pumpkinhead costume itself.
Oof.
Bang.
Oof.
You want to do some expectations, Derek?
I need to say one more.
You got more?
You want to cut me off?
No, I'm done with you talking. I'm going to come to my expectation. No, you go. Look, now I forgot how the flow of the podcast goes.
Dustin put the blue file.
Oh,
my
he's so
God.
sad.
Says on the whole, this isn't a bad sequel, but it is a lesser one that lacks the heart and unlikely charm of Stan Winston's picture.
Yep, that tracks. Okay, now can we do the expectations, Derek?
Yeah, but I'm
Now?
starting it this time. My overall expectation for this one is that it's just going to be another Rawhead Rex situation.
Oh, yeah?
And
Define.
to recap that, Rawhead Rex was a movie from the 80s with like a big monster that couldn't really move very well, but he was like cool to look at, and that was like the highlight of the movie.
Yeah.
Was the creature that just didn't move very well.
I get
You know
that,
what I mean?
yeah. But it was fun either way.
It was fun and
right?
it was campy.
We
I
enjoyed
enjoyed it.
Mhm.
And that I should elaborate on that.
Yeah.
Like I did enjoy it.
Right.
It was just like it was one of those movies where it was like, okay, not like the most eventful,
in a-
but like sometimes things would happen that I would scream and get
Feels
out
in
of
a
my chair.
similar vein, right? For me, my general expectation for it was just I'll enjoy it enough, but not love it. So it was
Ooh,
kind of where
yeah.
I was coming at it with.
Okay, yeah. I mean, and that's kind of how I felt about Rawhead too.
Yeah.
I keep trying to call him Bawhead because my stupid
The
character.
fake name that we gave him.
I think they will rely way too much on the monster design and not give us anything new.
Okay, I think they will have good intentions, but they will be poorly executed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The acting will be rough.
Ooh, I said great practical effects, just period.
Really rushed plot and script. You know, like one of those things where you're like, we had a movie that was super successful because the original one grossed like 50 million at the time, which is insane. So I just thought they would rush it out a sequel.
Yep. I said outlandish kills. I was really expecting some kind of wild stuff from this wild Pumpkinhead character.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you make a sequel to a monster movie like this, and I'm sure there were crazy things that happened in the first movie. It's like, how can we one up that, right? Like, how can we do more with this creature? It's like Art the Clown in Terrifier, right?
Or
like
even Jason Voorhees.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like every time, like just like what more weird ways can we get for this thing to kill people?
I fear for like specifically Terrifier as a franchise, which if you're not a fan of extreme horror, don't go see those movies.
Yeah, it's
They're
extreme horror, extreme gore for
rough.
sure.
Yeah. They're enjoyable with friends and like if you want to cower in your seat.
I think it was great though. Like Terrifier 2 is probably my top horror movie of 2022.
Yeah, wow,
Yeah,
really?
absolutely. You like agreed with me at one point. You're like, no, I
I
think
don't
I'm
know
there
if it's
with
my
you.
number one though.
You lied.
I don't know if I lied.
You told me that.
Okay, so at this moment, I can't think of any other horror movies that
See,
came out
there
in
you go.
2022.
Exactly. So if we're
Name
remembering
one other
Terrifier
that came
2,
out in 2022.
the Mission Impossible.
Oh yeah, that was my favorite one. No, so I guess you're probably right because it's the one that stuck out the most. Why are we talking about Terrifier?
Outlandish kills is why we got there.
Oh, wrong.
yeah. So now it's your turn. I pass it off to you.
And I said, give me them 80s off-screen deaths.
Give me them
I've
80
talked about these a
off-screen
lot
deaths.
in this podcast, you know, where they're like, oh no, person getting strangled, then cuts away and you see the person fly off screen or something.
Which I mean, I get from like if I were thinking about how I would try to create a horror movie,
Yeah.
trying to create and like make and craft really an effective like kill that looks good and realistic would take a lot of funds and a lot of like figuring it all out. It is a lot easier and probably a lot more costly to just like have someone
fly away.
rolling and like fully work on the side and then
Yeah.
have them fly on screen, you know?
Yeah,
Like, that
absolutely.
works.
And I
so
mean,
like I can understand why it happens
to a
often.
certain point, it is effective.
Yeah.
Right. I guess I bring up this expectation a lot, but it's more of like this is like a literal expectation, not
Yeah.
like a negative. So
Yeah, exactly. I said campy fun. It really felt like it had a lot of camp to give me. My campometer was through the roof with this one.
Campometer. Mita, I hardly know her. Then my final one is lack of tension. I just really didn't feel like I would feel any tension throughout the entire movie, that it would just all be there in front of me.
No, I get that. My final expectation was not enough of the Pumpkinhead on screen. It may take a while to actually see it. And that was mostly just because in the trailer, it has showed us a lot of other story, whatever happening. And then like the last 30 seconds of the trailer actually had the monster in it.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's going to be a lot of weird story before we actually get to the damn monster.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah. It's time. Shall we go? Let's go to the pumpkin patch.
Let's do it.
Let's-
and you know what's over there?
What's over there?
Jazz music.
Some jazz music. Yeah. We get a corny splat of like red on the screen with the opening credits. And I do enjoy the music, but it's like if like jazz, like smooth jazz was a horror. Like
Yeah.
that's the best way to describe
It's
it.
horror jazz.
Yeah,
Jorrer.
Jazzrer.
Jazzorrer.
George, that was
Whoa.
jazz. That was jazzable.
That was jazzable.
This music was definitely jazzable. And then there's fire on the screen, which transitions back to 1958, and it's black and white for some reason, which is weird because I'm like, we had colored movies in the 50s, you know, like I don't understand why it's in black and white.
It definitely felt like a weird choice.
Yeah, it made it look like it was like 1931, not 58.
It felt like the Roman, whatever, Robot Monster.
Oh, yeah, Robot Monster, that's it.
Yeah, it felt like that.
Yeah, it belonged in a different time period. But I think it was just because like they really wanted to show us like this is a different time period now.
Yes.
And this is, which I feel like there are other ways to do it, but like it was effective enough. It worked.
Yeah, it worked.
So we're in 1958. And there's a lady who's feeding a bowl of food to some creature in the woods that she calls Tommy.
Tommy.
Yeah,
get
she's
your
like calling out, she's like,
food.
Tommy, here he is. And it's pretty nasty looking. It's kind of like the prosthetics on him looks really good. This
They did
Tommy
actually
guy,
look
it's
really
like
good.
it's like a guy that lives in the woods who's kind of deformed, right? Kind of like Elephant Man looking,
Yeah,
I guess.
Elephant Man or like a Goblin Man kind of thing. I don't know. I called him Quasimodo a couple times.
Couldn't quite call him a creature because he definitely was a humanoid, just a man with just a deformed face, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Living out on his own in the woods. And then these shitty 50s teens show up to hurt him,
The
to
Red
hurt Tommy.
Wings.
They start chasing him, and it's like it could have been more of a tense scene. I did feel bad for what happens to Tommy in a second,
Yeah.
but there was like some like really funny like 50s like upbeat music underneath this chase sequence
This music
that
was
made it feel
whack.
really corny. That I'm like, I don't understand what I'm supposed to. What do you want me to
No,
feel right
yeah.
now? Do you want me to feel bad for Tommy?
This is a thing that happens throughout the entire movie too, where like the music is just all over the place.
Yeah.
I don't know what their choices were, but they were choices.
It was all over and not necessarily consistent.
no, not at all. I
Yeah.
mean, we had country music, we had jazz.
I think
music.
all of it could like you could make an argument as to why it fit, but you would have to argue is the point, right?
Yes, and you shouldn't have to argue.
If you have
should
to
be able
fight
listen
to
and
make the music
understand.
fit, then I don't think it should be there like
For
that,
sure,
right?
yeah.
But yeah, a little bit of a warning for what happens to Tommy here. It's kind of upsetting. Like it's
is
really
pretty
sad
upsetting.
actually. They chase him to this area where there's like it's like the opening of a mine shaft, I want to say. There's like chains dangling above a big hole, like
Yeah.
a really deep hole.
It is a mine shaft because they talk about how miners had died down there.
Yeah.
and so it got
So it's just like
closed off.
decommissioned. So they chase him there, and then they start to beat him up with their bats, and then they hang him from these chains, not around the neck, but like on like by his clothes, I think.
He got stabbed into him.
Yeah. Oh,
The-
that's what it
the
is. They like
chain,
stab
like,
it
got
into
stabbed
him.
into him.
Yeah, and then one asshole just like comes to him with a knife and just starts stabbing and slashing away at him as he's
Yeah.
hanging on this chain.
It's pretty messed up.
And then they just like let the chain go and drop him all the way down into this mine shaft.
It kind of felt like that scene from It, where the bully was like stabbing into that kid's
That's
stomach.
a hard one. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's like the vibe, right? The bully, the one bully that's going just a little bit too far.
Exactly,
And
'cause it's a group of like 6 of them, but there's
Yeah.
the one who's really taking initiative to like go way too far.
Way too
And
far.
I
And then
literally
they
wrote that.
kill him.
I was like, that was a lot. That
Yeah.
was kind of hard to watch, especially since like he didn't hurt them or anything.
No.
He's just like, you know, to their eyes a freak and he doesn't fit in, and so they want to hurt him for some reason.
And it was
Like,
kind of
it's-
a
really
really
sad.
shocking start to this movie too. I was not expecting anything like that.
It was also at this point throughout the movie, while he's getting beat up, his mother, who we assume is his mom, the
Yeah.
woman from the beginning, whenever he gets hit, it looks like she's getting hit. So they're like, they have some connection
was-
between the two of them.
It didn't really make any sense.
That didn't make sense. No.
But whatever. I called her Tommy Mommy the rest of the movie, by the way.
Tommy Mommy.
Every
Mommy
note,
Tommy.
every single note. Even when we learned her name, I called her Tommy Mommy.
Oh, that's I do remember her name. I was like, did I know her name? What did I write it down? So now we're back at the present. It's been like 35 years later is what it is.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't give us an exact time. It just says present day.
Well, and it's funny because someone says 20 years later, and then like 5 minutes later, they're like, yeah, it's been 35 years.
Exactly. So like, which is it? I don't understand. So we meet the new town sheriff. He just moved here from the big city. He moved in from New York.
Move in the big city.
Yeah, so we meet him. He's new in town. He used to live there when he was a kid, but now he's back, and so he's here with his daughter Jenny, who he brought here. And it's 35 years later. We still have shitty teenagers who introduce themselves to Jenny. They're like the cool badasses of the school. They're like, yeah, let's meet up. Let's go out and like drink and smoke over at the spot where Tommy died. Coincidentally, yeah, it's weird. But when we meet the mayor, when we meet the sheriff, we meet the mayor as well. Derek, tell me about this mayor.
So this mayor, let's have a little conversation about this mayor. First off, he's a cool cat.
He's a cool cat. They call him the mayor. I'm like, are you sure? Because he has a mullet, like a curly, big old mullet. He does not look like the mayor at all.
He is a rock star. Do you want to know that? He's a rock star. He doesn't know how to tune a guitar, but he's played by Roger Clinton. Who's Roger
That
Clinton?
name sounds familiar to me.
That's
That name
Bob
sounds-
Clinton's brother.
Bob Clinton.
Bill.
It's Bob Clinton, my favorite president, Bob Clinton. Yes, it's me, Bob Clinton, and I'm gonna run this country real good.
I'm not gonna have any controversy. I'm gonna marry a lady, but she's gonna be president one day too.
I'm not gonna have any controversy. I'm gonna marry a lady, and one day she's gonna be president too. Is that what you just said?
Might be. I don't know. Anyway, Roger Clinton played Mayor
Not
Bubba.
brother of Bob Clinton.
Yes, Bill Clinton's little
The
brother.
lesser brother. Bob Clinton the lesser.
So this actually caught us off guard. So he has a song that plays in the end credits for this movie, and I looked it up because I wanted to use it as our little outro bit because it's a really funny song that was written for this movie. And I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh, it was written by Roger Clinton." And Emily goes, "What? Bill Clinton's brother?" And I I look up his name, and Roger Clinton, American actor, Bill Clinton's brother.
Wow, insane.
It was the greatest moment of my life.
It's very funny. Yeah, so this is the guy running this town. He's a pretty throwaway character in all honesty.
100%. He is just there because he's like a big name.
Yeah, and I think it's just because I don't know if they asked him to be in the movie or he asked to be in the movie because he was doing the music for it.
When
like
was
the
Bill
song
Clinton
for it,
president?
Right? During this movie, maybe? You figure that out, and I'll talk more about this. So the teens convince Jenny to go hang out with them pretty easily. They don't seem that cool, but she's like, yeah, I'll come hang out with you guys anyway. So they're hanging out at the spot where Tommy was murdered. They're drinking, they're smoking, and then, shit, Daddy's here.
Wait, this is actually kind of interesting.
Okay, give it to me.
He became president like during the production of this movie.
Wow. Can you imagine? That's probably why he wasn't in the movie much. Like, hey guys, sorry, I got to go hang out with my brother. He's like the president now.
Yeah, he's like the president because he became president.
Hey Bob, get over here, you loser. What'd you ever do? Yeah, you're not the president. Yeah, you're not writing the rock music for
Roger.
this movie. No, Bob, the one you created.
Oh, you're being dumb.
Oh man. Yes, and
I'm sorry, I lost my brain.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Bill Clinton was president from 93 to 2001.
That's pretty wild.
So, yeah.
So they're all hanging out at the spot, and then Jenny's dad is there, the sheriff, and then this is also right after Danny Dixon, who's the main guy who's into Jenny, the daughter. He like forces himself onto her, like kissing her.
Oh, he was icky.
They just met, and he's like, he's gross. I never liked him. They never make me like him.
Never.
But for some reason, Jenny does.
I feel like they kind of tried to make us like him at times, but even when they were trying, it made me hate him
Didn't
more.
work. Yeah, I hated it. So yeah, the sheriff shows up, he busts their little party, takes Jenny home, and then him and Jenny argue about like who she chooses to hang out with, because first she's like, you want me to make friends, and then you don't like who I hang out with, so what am I gonna do? And so what does she do in her anger? She sneaks out that night, she leaves the house, and then she meets up with those weirdos, and it's weird, it's weird that she's sneaking out with them in the night, even though they just met. Like, she doesn't know these people, can't trust them that much, but they're gonna go do some bad activities. What are they gonna do, Derek? What's this awful thing they're gonna go do? Like this criminal crime that they're doing?
Aren't they just breaking into that lady's house?
They're just cow tipping is what they're doing.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot what they were talking about
They're
doing.
gonna go cow tipping. That's their idea of a fun time.
It's pretty mean.
It's like, hey, there's a new girl in town. You know what'd be really cool is if we show her how we like abuse cows. Like, what the? That's not very nice. That's not a way to get a lady to like you.
Literally terrible.
It's awful. And while they're on their way to do cow tipping, they play this stupid game where they just drive. Well, I guess Danny, the guy driving the car, he plays this game where he just turns the lights off and he keeps driving, and then he like turns them back on. He turns them off. He turns them back on. And when he turns them back on the final time, he runs over a woman in the middle of the street.
Because that just happens. It's
That
really
just
sad.
happens, yeah. You see, it looks like she's like holding something. I wasn't really clear of what she was doing, but
Just walking across the street.
The kids seem aware of who she is. They're like, oh yeah, she's a local witch. They happen to know where she lives, and she seemingly got up and walked away from the scene where she was just hit by a whole ass car. And left a big dent
she's
in
cool.
it.
She just
Yeah.
takes off.
Sure, she's fine. Yeah. They're like, we're gonna go over to her house and check it out, I guess. I'm not really sure what their goal is, what they want to do. But while they're approaching her house, there's like this slide guitar music that is really driving the point that they're in a small town compared to like New York City, right?
I love this music though. It felt like the beginning of a Western, not the beginning of a horror movie.
This is another moment where like the music kind of stuck out. It's like it was really strange, didn't really fit. But they do find the witch's hut in the woods, right? And this is definitely the mother from Tommy in the very beginning of the movie, right?
Yeah, Tommy Mommy.
Tommy Mommy, yeah,
Tommy
exactly.
Mommy. Or Miss Ozzy,
Or
whichever you want to call her.
Yeah. Look, you do know her name.
Maybe.
Yeah.
There's Tommy Mommy.
It's Tommy Mommy. While they're on their
Tom
way
Mom.
there, they do walk past some kind of like ritualistic circle of graves on their way in, I think. I don't really.
It looked like Stonehenge, but like with some cult activity.
Yeah, that's kind of exactly the vibe of what it was.
Yeah.
So they walk past there, and then in the house they find a spell book with a spell to bring back the dead, along with some blood of the damned in like a vial, right?
Yep.
And so clearly the witch is trying to revive someone, right? We can assume Tommy since he's dead now.
Yeah.
And all of the friends are in varying degrees of like thinking this is dangerous to being like, oh, stop being so paranoid. You know, all of them are kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Which I do like. I like that not all of them are one way or the other. It felt realistic for that way.
Yeah, and it felt like the main annoying dude was like the only one who was awful.
Yeah.
Too. Like I actually didn't mind the rest of the group. They were kind of just there.
Yeah, I would agree there. And then here comes the old hag. Her voice is gross. I didn't like
anything this woman did.
There was,
no offense to her.
She should have been likable. She was like kind to this deformed boy who was like an orphan before. Like it's just like she was good and she was a cool witch.
Yeah.
But I just didn't like her character.
It's kind of sad because Lillian Chauvin.
One more take.
Lillian Chauvin was the one who played Miss Tommy Mommy. And she's been in a bunch. Like she's done 152 movies up until her passing. And she
I just think this movie was not the best utilization of her talents, right?
Like they were just like, hey, make a creepy voice, and she just didn't.
But yeah, she has completely black eyes now. She's blinded now, and it doesn't ever really tell us why she was blinded. Nothing ever happened to her that would show that.
No.
But her makeup is pretty great and unsettling for that reason, though. She looks like just like a nasty old hag.
Yeah, she looked really cool for sure.
Yeah. And then she makes them leave, and she tries to stop Danny from stealing her vial of damned blood.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why, but he wanted it.
Yeah,
he's like,
he
yeah, I'm
felt
going to
the
take
call.
this. Yeah. So he hits her in the face and runs.
Yep.
Which is just like, it was
He's
kind
an
of sad.
asshole.
He's just a dick.
Again, there's nothing redeemable about
He's
this
just
kid.
not a nice character. And then as she's like writhing on the floor, she goes, Miss O.C. curses every one of you to the vengeance of Pumpkinhead.
And a little giggle is released.
Just a little bit. Just like around the world, children join in laughter at the sound of Pumpkinhead.
There's nothing cool about the name Pumpkinhead.
I just wish it had a scarier feel to it.
I don't know,
right?
like Rygar the Pumpkin. Or
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly.
Like Pumpkin is like a pet name though.
Yeah.
Like maybe something else. Like
oh, my sweet little pumpkin, you know, like, eh.
And Jackhead is sexual, so you can't call him that.
No, you
but
can't
like,
call him Jack shit either, because that's offensive.
That's offensive, and 3 people just died when you said that.
Shit, I'm sorry to you 3. I'll revive you with blood of the damned in a spellbook I found in an old hag's hut.
Anyway,
so naturally the teens go to that gravesite they saw earlier and they just start digging up the middle of it. Don't know why the hell they thought that was a good idea.
I don't know.
Just a minute ago, like most of them are like, "Oh, this is going to be too dangerous. We shouldn't mess with this." So yeah, they're like 50 feet from OC's house.
Yeah.
Like, why would they think this is a good idea after one of them just punched her? I didn't like that bit.
hey, I'm still stuck on something real quick.
What are you stuck on?
So I know I was just dissing on the Pumpkinhead name, but it was based on the riddle. I mean, not the riddle, the poem.
The poem,
that had
yeah.
Pumpkinhead in it.
Exactly.
So I guess they were saying true to like its source material.
Its source material that they then also bastardized in many ways.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But did you know that it was actually originally supposed to be called Vengeance?
What?
Yeah, the original movie was supposed to be called Vengeance the Demon.
Vengeance. So instead of Pumpkinhead, it was supposed to be Vengeance?
Vengeance the Demon.
That's better. It's got a better ring to it.
Yeah, but
It's
then
not incredibly original, but yeah, I like that. I like that more.
Anyway.
So yeah, so they find a decomposed corpse of Tommy buried in that grave, and it looks really good actually. These decomposed corpses is really really convincing.
Oh yeah, it's gross.
And then they start to dump that blood onto Tommy and read from the spell book, and I'm sure this is a great idea.
Oh yeah, it's a great idea. Let's
Yeah.
summon this creature.
Meanwhile, while this is happening, OC accidentally sets her house on fire.
It was sad.
Yeah, because she's trying to help herself up off the ground and she like grabs at the tablecloth where there was a candle that the kids lit. She didn't light this candle by herself. And then when she rips at the tablecloth, the candle falls. Her little hut, which is all wood, starts to catch fire.
Yep.
Which is kind of sad.
It's really sad.
They all run back to the house, leaving the grave unattended.
Yeah.
And then while they're away and the house is burning in flames, you know, Tommy's grave starts to glow with this bright light as he roars from within. I thought it was actually really cool.
It was a really dope effect.
Because yeah, at first it was just like an outside shot of like the grave itself with this big light glowing, and then it got closer and showed the coffin itself with light shining through the cracks. I really did like that effect a lot. And then Tommy bursts out of the coffin, and he has a clawed hand of Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkinhead.
Not Pumpkinhead. Pumpkinhead. Sorry.
Pumpkin hand.
Yeah, maybe it's just he's a pumpkin person. It's like pumpkin head, pumpkin shoulders, pumpkin knees, and pumpkin toes.
Pumpkin shoulders, knees,
pumpkin
and toes.
pumpkin shoulders, pumpkin toes.
Oh, you just say pumpkin
knees,
once.
pumpkin toes.
It's like, like in music when you have the beginning of a verse and you have you have the beginning of a
School me, jazz daddy.
you don't read music. You have like if one note at the beginning is like a sharp.
Yeah.
The rest of the notes in that.
Exactly. They don't have to put the sharp symbol next to it all the time because it's assumed unless they put the natural
carries it
symbol.
over. So in that same vein, it's music. So you're like pumpkin shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes.
I guess so. Well, you don't like pumpkin shoulders, pumpkin knees, pumpkin toes.
No,
that doesn't flow
it hurts
for you.
me.
Oh, okay.
Pumpkin
eyes, pumpkin
ears,
ears,
pumpkin mouth, and pumpkin nose. That's
pumpkin
what
head,
we call
pumpkin shoulder,
Rice
pumpkin knees, pumpkin toes, pumpkin
Krispies.
knees, pumpkin toes. God, it's hard.
Rice Krispies.
Rice Krispies. Krispies? Is that like your joints? Your pumpkin knees and your pumpkin toes are crispy?
Listen, man, I turned 30 very soon, and
What? Ew, you're old.
I'm not that old,
No,
but
you're not.
I'm living my life, dude. 30 is the beginning of the rest of my life.
That's true.
Because-
if you're out there and you're like 30 or almost 30, you still got so much going. It's
Go
your
be
time.
30.
Your
Go be
prime is
30.
coming. Don't get scared of that.
my prime is what?
Your prime is something. Your prime is arriving. Is that better?
Oh,
Your
yes.
prime delivery is arriving. Did
prime-
you hear? The doorbell rang. Amazon is here.
Hello, it is me, Jeff Bezos. Here is your package. Thank
Kinda
you for
sounds like
ordering.
Science Gym.
Thank you. I was gonna say something really embarrassing to order, and then you distracted me. Keep going.
Good. So the what is it? Miss OC, the witch from the hut. She somehow the paramedics were able to get her out of the burned building, so she's not dead yet. There's also this never came to light or like never made sense later on. The scarecrow in her front yard looks like a decomposed corpse.
Yeah.
Who was that?
No idea.
That was
but it
never-
was a dope effect.
never addressed.
I thought it was Tommy.
Yeah, that's
in
what I-
disguise.
Mhm.
That was
But-
my assumption.
But he's the Pumpkinhead now. It was weird though. I liked it. It looks
That's
cool.
all, folks.
It just didn't make any sense. There was a civilian whose name was Ernst, not Ernest, Ernst, who saw the kids going up to that cabin. He talks ominously about how they've messed with Satan and something is coming back that will hunt them. He literally, because earlier in the movie he was arguing about like how the prices went up and the hunting license, and he goes for a refund on the hunting license because he's like, no way I'm hunting. I'm too scared now because now I'm the hunted.
yeah.
Which is just it's a little fishy. Something's going on there.
Something's going on.
Every
there.
line that the sheriff says feels like it's coming from some instructional video or like if you ever played Skyrim or like Oblivion, like NPC
he sounds
dialogue.
like the NPCs.
It doesn't feel real, and it feels
It
like
doesn't.
it was recorded in one take. Then, not in a series of not like a conversation. None of his lines feel conversational. Like, do you agree?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, like there's these videos on YouTube of this guy from these old instructional videos, like voice, like learning English videos, and they're put over the top of like Oblivion music, and
it fits.
and it fits so
Really
well,
fits.
and that is what his dialogue felt
Yeah,
like.
that's the vibe from our beloved sheriff. So the sheriff does find out from Ernst that he saw the Danny's like red like Dodge or something, like he had a car. He had a specific kind of model of car.
Yeah.
Either Camaro or something like that.
Dude,
I can't.
why did you
was
look
not
at me like
specific
I knew
enough.
what that was?
Because you're my car guy. You're the car dude.
Hello, it's me, Derek, car guy.
Yeah, exactly.
What's a sport? I don't even know what a sport is, but I know what a Volkswagen is.
Yeah,
Do you know
exactly.
that there's a Volkswagen Sport? Do you know what?
Is that a
listen,
thing?
Listen to me. I'm a guy I know about cars. I
there a
drive a
Volkswagen
Chevrolet
Sport?
Cruze, and that is I named it Tom when I first
Listen,
bought
I
it. 'Cause I thought it'd be funny and
guarantee
it'd be
you could
Tom
probably
Cruise.
you could probably name more car brands than I could.
Okay,
That
ready?
makes you a car guy.
Ready?
Okay.
Toyota.
Toyota? Okay, Chevrolet. Come on, man. Don't do this to me.
Koenigsegg.
What? What is that?
I don't know. It's Emily's favorite car.
Nissan.
Altima.
That's isn't that just a Nissan Altima? Jeep
Built tough.
built to Ford. God, this is terrible.
This is not.
We've
content.
lost everybody.
You know what makes great content? Listing car brands.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to our new card podcast. That was Cardable.
That was Cardable. No, because Cardable is when we talk about gambling.
No,
When
that's
we talk
true.
about blackjack.
No, this one is that was Revable. That was a Revable.
Well, that's if we really like the car.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
can do anything with our title. Of
It's
our podcast.
great. We've got a beautiful thing. The world is our oyster.
Listen, that was Horrorble podcast network. We've got so many podcasts coming for you. We got that was Puppetable. We got that was crochetable. We
Oh,
got
okay.
that was paintable.
That was
We got that was webcamable.
That was revable.
That was
You're just
revable.
looking at things around you now.
Shut up.
So he
outed
finds
me.
out, the sheriff finds out that there was a red car there. Basically, that's all you need to know. So he goes to ask Danny, the only guy in town that has a red car like that, who's the shitty guy we've been mentioning this whole time. He's like, so what do you know about that? Then his dad shows up, who happens to be like the main judge of the town, Judge Dixon. And his dad corroborates his story. He's like, oh yeah, he was here last night studying away. He was not anywhere. And the sheriff is like, I'll remember that. He's like, okay, just want to check it out. I'll leave now. And then his dad kind of gets on him. He's like, hey, you're already on probation. I can't cover you for much longer, right? So, like, stop getting in trouble. So Miss O.C. is in the hospital now, and she can feel that Pumpkinhead is back in every fiber of her body.
You know what I mean, there was a lot I hated about her being in the hospital. But the main thing I hated about her being in the hospital
Nothing
is
ever came of it.
Well, but like, I told you, man, there's a lot I hated about this. But the main thing I hated about it, they covered up 90% of her prosthetic with bandages.
Yeah, exactly. She looks
But
really
she
cool.
was like still having the bandage. Like she still had the prosthetic on. It was obvious.
But then she was just covered in bandages.
I was like,
It's
no,
what's the point?
I would have liked her just a little bit more if she had just kept the prosthetic.
Agreed. No. Yeah. So we see now we get the shot of like the POV from Pumpkinhead, and it's all just like in red flashing lights. Like the vision is really like blurred, like kind of double vision kind of stuff.
It felt kind of like Predator.
Yeah,
like
a little bit like
vision.
that.
Or remember that fantastic film, American Werewolf in Paris?
I remember the really bad one, American Werewolf in Paris. But go on.
Did you not like that movie?
No, it's fine. We can talk about it later. What about that movie?
Well, I'm just like confused.
No, it's
because we talk about the movie every day.
So Pumpkinhead is on the hunt.
No. In that movie, he does the same thing. He has like special vision.
Yeah. Yes, you're right.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Pumpkinhead is on the hunt, and we only see, for a second, him in small parts. First, it just shows his feet stomping along. Then it shows like the little end of his tail, and then the mouth. And then here it is, all of it in its glory. And it looks really, really incredible.
He looks awesome.
It's very, very good.
Had they never heard of Monster Delay?
Because it just gives us the whole kit and caboodle immediately.
I understand it's the sequel, so like they assume people have seen the monster before, but like it doesn't matter. Like,
no.
There's no tension at all if you just give it to us right at the start.
Because for me as a viewer, an enjoyer of horror, when I see the monster in its entirety, I think there's nowhere else they can go from here. I feel like there's a lot that can make a creature, even if it's a very well-designed creature, so much scarier if you don't see all of it. You don't see everything it has to offer, because you can keep being surprised throughout the movie.
Yeah, and let me get up on my soapbox here. I think
tall
that
soapbox.
if you're going to show the monster that early in a sequel, have more.
Yeah.
And spoilers, he's the only one in the whole movie.
That's it. That's
but
all
if
we
it had
got.
been like an Aliens situation,
Yeah.
right, where there are like a bunch of them, it would be okay if you showed me just one.
Exactly.
Because then I'm fearing for what else is out there, right? It's like you said, you don't know what else is coming.
But even then, when they show a lot, it implies that there's one big one, you know? Because when you have a lot of little ones, they seem like lackeys, right? It's like a mob of zombies. It's like, oh, they're just zombies, you know? It's no big. Because then also in Aliens, there's the big one, right? There's like the queen of it.
Exactly.
So it always has to go somewhere. So when you showcase an entire monster and there's only one of them, there's nowhere for it to go.
Nowhere to go.
Yeah, exactly. So like I was a little bit worried about that.
Yeah, I was a little bummed.
And they find ways just to have fun with it. But yeah, they definitely show you like all of the creature.
he's just there. He's
Which
all
again,
hanging out.
looks incredible. It looks a lot like a xenomorph. I do like its eyes. They were all like whited out. It was really cool.
He looked really cool. And he blinked. He blinked too, which was a super cool effect.
So it's hunting down that guy I mentioned earlier named Ernst. It takes him and he's at like his farm and he hangs him on a meat hook by like throwing him onto it. It was kind of funny.
It was wonky. It was fun.
It was a little weird, and I kind of liked it.
I liked it.
The scene is wild. Any scene that Pumpkinhead is in, there's always flashing lights. Like he always comes with a storm cloud with him. Like I don't know where these lights are coming from.
Yeah, no, me neither.
Yeah. So then as what am I trying to say? Oh, as he hangs, as he's hanging, I forgot the N in hangs, so it just says then as he hags. I'm like, what does that mean? Then as he has a good summer. What is that?
Have a
good summer, Pumpkinhead.
Hey, Pumpkinhead, you done great this week, Pumpkin. Have a great summer. Hags? Hags.
As he's hanging, the Pumpkinhead just tears into him. He's just sending random limbs falling to the floor. It's a bloody mess.
So fun, though.
It was really fun.
I had a great time with
I
it.
liked it. And then, so the witch can feel what Pumpkinhead feels for some reason. So as this kill scene is going on, she's just in the hospital, writhing in her bed.
Ugh, I hated this. It was so dumb.
And I didn't understand, because in the beginning it showed that when Tommy was getting hurt, she was getting hurt.
Yeah.
But he was not getting hurt in this sequence. It honestly felt like when his victims were getting hurt, she was getting hurt, and it didn't make sense.
No, pretty much none of this.
A lot of what
made
happens
sense.
with the witch makes sense and didn't need to happen, right?
Didn't make sense.
Yeah, it all felt kind of botched, thrown together.
Yeah, for sure.
So anyway, so they're starting to connect that maybe whatever killed Ernst was also at OC's cabin due to the claw marks that they're finding. So they're talking about like they're looking through the coroner's report about him, right?
Yeah.
And he broke 63 bones and his thorax was crushed. I didn't even know that people had a thorax. I didn't know that was a thing.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Science Jim.
Hey.
You want to tell me about thorax?
Yeah,
Thori? I don't
did
know how to
you-
say thoraxes.
Did you know that humans is bugs?
Humans is bugs? No, shrimps is bugs, Science Jim.
No. Humans is bugs.
Shrimps is
Because
bugs, humans is bugs too?
Just above the abdomen, you've got the thorax.
The thorax.
The thorax.
Okay.
Now, normally people only think
Does
about
the thorax speak for the
crustaceans.
trees?
That's really funny. But
Or does
I'm
it
not
speak
here
for
to
the
joke.
thorax speaks for my knees?
Listen, man.
Is that anything?
I've got to make dinner. Because Math Jane is coming over soon. She's also a puppet.
Oh,
And-
right.
And I need the.
Yeah.
This bit's really stupid.
Anyway,
Uh-huh.
did you know that every human also has a thorax? It's crazy, right?
Strange.
It's animals, humans, mammals, tetrapod animals have their thorax located between their neck and their abdomen. Yeah, it's also called the tete. It's called the head.
Don't laugh. Don't laugh. It's not funny. It's not fun. The tete is...
TT. Isn't that just like Spanish?
You're looking
for
at a
head?
picture that is comparing a person to an ant, and that's really weird. just look here. That on the bug is that on the human. I guess humans is bugs.
Wait, but does ant not have penis? How do ant replicate?
I wish I could tell you honestly, but
Wait.
all I know is humans is bugs.
Humans is bug. I mean, we've only got 4 legs. I've only got 3 legs, and a bug has 8.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm not.
No. A bug's got 6. An insect has 6, and then the spiders have 8.
Oh,
That's
right.
the thing.
Sorry,
That's all,
Science Jim
that's all I know
left.
about bugs. Yeah, Science Jim is out, so we're left to our own devices.
Anyway, cool thing I learned today.
Yeah, cool.
Did you
So
know
we
that
have-
you should
you-
learn something every day? of
Every
your
single
life?
day. And today we learned we have thorax.
I learned that I have a thorax, and I thought it was just my chest or my sternum.
I have a thorax, and I'm proud. Proud of my thorax.
Down with not having thorax. Well, that's kind of like
Up with thorax.
That's kind of like ostracizing anyone who doesn't have a thorax.
That's true. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry if that was insensitive.
We're
to any
inclusive
of you
here.
Who don't have thorax.
We're inclusive here, and we're
Thorax or not, we love you still, son.
And
we're
like-
proud of you.
okay. This bit's done. will you make a puppet of just a thorax?
Yeah,
please?
it's just a torso, really.
no.
Apparently,
no, it's a thorax.
Apparently, around these parts, they have a legend of Pumpkinhead. So he does exist within this world already.
Yes.
People do know about him. And then the sheriff recites some poem that he knew from childhood,
Yeah.
which is the poem that Derek did in the very beginning,
yeah,
right?
it wasn't the whole poem though. He just did the end of it.
Yeah, he did a little bit chunk
Yeah.
of it. Because again, he lived here when he was a kid. So he does know about this. He did hear a little bit about it.
Which I did like that small connection.
So now we're at a random, fairly tame sex scene in the forest. It's just Jenny's bed in the middle of the woods with Danny
Oh,
there
right.
with her, right? Yeah, it was super strange.
Completely forgot about it.
Yeah. So then we find out, it's just Jenny's dream. But then as quick as it was over, now we're back. And now Pumpkinhead is here with his flashing lights. He's just roaring above her. His design is far too good for this movie so
Yeah,
far.
it really is.
It's undeserving of it, I would say. But good. More sex because now we're at some random hut in the woods, some random shack somewhere.
Yeah.
And this
there's
gross
two people
looking man.
shacking up.
They're shacking up in the
Get it?
shack.
It's a love.
Oh, it's a
shack.
love shack.
It's a
I get
little
it.
place
That's the love shack. We saw it. But yeah, so it's just these two people having sex. He makes one line about his wife, so clearly it's not his wife. That line doesn't really matter at all because here comes Pumpkinhead before you can, come. Here comes Pumpkinhead before you can do the, you get what I'm saying, right? So I don't know who these two people are. They're just two gross people. They're strangers to me. They didn't serve any purpose. We had not seen them until this scene.
No, yeah, they've never been introduced.
Really just introduced as bait for Pumpkinhead, right? Just more people to kill. And every time Pumpkinhead comes in to kill, the old lady convulses in her hospital bed again. It's like a system that keeps happening.
It keeps happening.
I'm really enjoying these sequences of Pumpkinhead killing people. I wish we would stop going back to old lady OC in the bed. Like, I'm sick. I get it. She's hurt for some reason.
It's like when you are making out on the couch or something,
It's just like that.
and then a dog comes up and starts licking your foot.
What? What?
You know?
What do these have to do with each other?
Because
No,
you're like,
please.
no, because you're having a good time, you're going along, and then all of a sudden, you get slapped right out of it.
Because the dog?
No, I'm talking about her.
Oh,
The
okay.
old
Yeah.
lady.
Yeah,
I
get
mean, also
you.
the dog. It's
Yeah.
an allergy.
But Derek, why is there some weirdly like comforting country music over this kill
this
sequence?
Christian rock country music.
It was so
I
funny.
cannot find it on
It was
the internet.
hilarious.
I wanted to find it to show it.
I wish we could. It is very, very funny.
But just imagine Dolly Parton
yeah,
out there
because
singing
over
her
this
heart out.
basically Dolly Parton music, the Pumpkinhead is just ragdolling the stranger around the cabin. It's just very
So
comedic.
funny.
He takes him up in the air and like breaks his back over his knee like it's Bane with the Batman.
It was arguably the best scene in the entire movie.
And it's kind of sad because I wrote here the scene was so entertaining. I wish it went on for longer
Me
because it's
too.
actually kind of short.
And then it cut off.
Yeah,
It was gone.
because he just throws the man through the shack, and then the girl screams, and then it's cut to the next
Yep.
day, which was just kind of sad. But at each of the scenes of these crimes, the sheriff keeps finding these like these symbols that he calls blood wings.
Yeah.
for no reason.
For literally no reason.
He just starts going like, "Oh, they're blood wings." It's like, what? What do you have?
What?
It kind of looks like if you were a kid drawing a picture and you like draw your son up in the corner and then you draw birds, which is like two little hills, I guess is the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
It's kind of what it looked like. I
guess.
That's the only reason I can say that he called them blood wings. Doesn't really make sense.
Doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah. So the lady from that murder that night though did actually survive somehow. And the lady who's also helping the sheriff throughout all this stuff, I think she's just the town doctor or something like that. I don't know why she was there at every scene of the crime.
I don't know.
It was strange. But she's one step away from being scared to death. Bum, bum, bum. It felt like the ending of like the CSIs.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about, right? Where it's like, yeah, they put the glasses on. You know what I mean?
Dude.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah. So the town judge is starting to rally some little posse to fight back against whatever is doing all of these murders. And it kind of feels like he's the one in charge. He's like, you may be the sheriff, but I've been around for a lot longer, right? So yeah, I'm not really liking Judge Dixon. He's seeming kind of like an asshole.
Yeah, he was not fun.
So Jenny comes up to Danny. She's like, I'm going to confess to my dad and like get him to help me out on this stuff, right? And Danny's like, hey, no, you can't do that.
You can't do that.
And then the other three friends who kind of become background characters at a certain point, they find out that the last town she was in, she was a part of some kind of crime with other friends, but she was the only one not charged for it. So they're like,
Yes.
we don't trust her, not for a second. Yeah, so they're worried about having her around. But then they're all like, I think the body that we dug up is Pumpkinhead returned, because they all know the legend too, right? And they're like, all these murders are happening.
Yep.
It's got to be connected, right? So they're going to go check out the grave and see what happened. Meanwhile, the sheriff is looking into old newspaper headlines talking about Tommy, and he remembers the stories from when he was a kid about this boy, Tommy, this orphan lived in the woods. Then
Yep.
he has a flashback of young sheriff who's
sheriff.
like, oh, I was out in the woods and I lost my toy. So the next day I went to go back to it, and who was playing with it?
Oh, look, it's little Tommy. He's
Little
playing
Tommy.
with the toy.
Who the sheriff is a young boy, but
Okay,
Tommy
yes.
is like
He's a 30-year-old
He's like a
man.
30-year-old man.
They used the same actor for when he's like in later life and now.
it was.
And yet, no, man, it didn't work.
But again, we're in the past, so we're back in the black and white
Yes,
filter,
I did
right?
like
so
that.
so now it kind of makes sense. I'm like, okay, I'm really feeling like, yeah. So now this is a flashback. It's in black and white compared to the color
It
of
would
the.
have been cool if they used that anymore, but they sure didn't.
But what's strange about this is the news articles claim that Tommy hung himself. It wasn't listed as a murder. And I wrote here that the acting in this movie just feels like a Hallmark movie, like 60% of the time.
Yeah, it's either people being Muppets or a Hallmark movie.
Yeah. So the mayor is back for a second. He's like his second and really only other appearance in the movie, because he's like, oh, I'm happy that the townsfolk think there's a monster in the town. He's like, think about it. The Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot,
this is
all of these
great.
things.
It's so much money.
We're going to bring all the
bring
money.
everybody in.
This is going to be a tourist trap. It's great. So he just wants to turn the town into a tourist attraction. Like, what an ass. He kind of sucks. But guess what? The gravesite is empty. That spell did work out. Now the teens are all nervous.
Oh, no.
So yeah, confirmed. The grave, the Tommy was the thing, whatever. We go to like a chicken fighting ring.
Yeah.
We just see some bloodied up dead chickens.
No, yeah.
Kind of sucked.
It was not fun.
Didn't really like it. I guess that's legal here. And yet here comes Pumpkinhead again. Shockingly, the old woman is writhing in her hospital bed again.
Oh my God, what's going on?
What?
So stupid. But then we get a really fun sequence.
Yeah.
Of Pumpkinhead taking out these three guys.
So yeah, there's like these two farmer brothers. They're the Knox brothers is what they're called.
Yep.
K-N-O-X, the Knox brothers. So he takes one of the guys and he knocks his head into a chicken coop where the chickens then peck him to death.
They pull out his eyeballs.
It was
and pick out.
really gruesome.
really
and
fun.
really fun. I liked that one a lot.
Yeah.
And then he simply tears into the other two. There isn't much to mention about the
Yeah.
others. The design of Pumpkinhead is great, but it does feel just a little derivative of Xenomorphs again.
It really does. It was fun to look at and really fun to watch him kill things. But at the same time, I was just like,
I wanted more.
I wanted more, yeah, a little bit. But again, he's probably sincerely the highlight of the movie, obviously, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it does seem like the Pumpkinhead does have some sort of motive because he hasn't killed any of like the other people that were at these gruesome scenes. Because there was a girl at this farm as well, who like one of the farmers was kind of picking on, kind of being an asshole to her.
Yeah.
And he lets her live, so she survives somehow. So like he didn't kill her, didn't kill the girl from the first place. So it seems like he does have a method to what he's doing, right? He's not just killing randomly, right? And that's what the sheriff is thinking too. He's like, I think these are connected somehow. It's not just random, like something is happening here. And he's still looking into this bloodwing symbol, like what's happening here. He finds out through the coroner's report that like it supports the theory that Tommy didn't kill himself. There were like a bunch of bashes in his body, so it seems like he was actually killed here.
Yeah.
Derek, talk about the cinematography in this movie.
Yeah, let's talk about it. I haven't brought that up yet. It has been really fun. There have been a lot of like really cool Dutch angle style shots and really good long style shots, but probably some of my favorites, like there's one where they're digging the hole at the beginning of the movie and they put the camera onto the shovel and tip it out.
Oh, I actually really like that one, like POV from the shovel. That was really cool.
Yeah, that one rocked a lot. My favorite thing about this cinematography, though, is that it was done by a guy named Bill Dill. Which is just the funnest thing to say.
Bill Dill doing your cinematography on the hill.
But yeah, I mean, there really isn't too much else to say. It was just like a big standout for me. It's one of those movies where you're watching it like, why is the cinematography the way it is?
So like the two things that were much better than this movie deserved are clearly the Pumpkinhead's like
design,
practical suit, and then the cinematography, which just like really stuck out. It was cool.
The music, on the other hand, was perfectly in line with this movie.
Exactly. They were a match made in heaven, honestly. Yeah. But Miss Osi is dead now. I don't understand what her point was in being a character at all. No. But then, just as quick as she's gone, she's back, and now she's giving some ominous warning from beyond. And she confirms that the Pumpkinhead is Tommy, and she's the guardian of his soul. And like he'll kill them 6 boys with them red wings. So like, okay, hold on. So blood wings is a real thing.
Yeah.
She mentions the blood wings, and then she gives him some totem from around her neck, and she just dies.
She just dies. She's gone.
Yeah, and as we get scenes of like Pumpkinhead writhing in anguish as his soul carrier dies, I think there's just a lot of flashing lights in this movie.
It really felt like they had a lot of lore they wanted to pack into this, and then it just didn't.
No, exactly. So now they have confirmation that the Red Wings are a thing. So they go to old yearbooks and they find out that there actually was an auto club in high school called the Red Wings, right? And so they look at all the people. Like, sure enough, everyone in that photo from that club that year was dying.
Yeah.
The only one left that hasn't died so far is Judge Dixon. And so like, oh shit, now Judge is in trouble.
Bill Clinton's brother, you better watch out.
So now we see all the friends are together again, and they're like, hey, we really need to get the sheriff's help on this. Pumpkinhead is back. Then Danny goes crazy.
Yeah, he does.
And he just starts threatening to shoot them. He holds them by gunpoint. He's like, you're not going to go tell the sheriff anything.
This didn't make any sense.
I don't understand why this is happening.
Why did he start freaking out? I don't get it.
Yeah. So the judge starts to suspect that he's next on the kill list. Yeah. And he like walks into a room of his house, and there's just the Bloodwing symbol all over his house.
I like this a lot.
It's a really cool effect. The only thing that makes it a little less scary to me is thinking about Pumpkinhead being there earlier, finger painting on the walls, right? Like, imagine the Pumpkinhead with his cool claw hands, like, because they were all over. Like, that would take some time to set up.
I didn't even think about that.
Like, he had to set this up, because that means he had to go into the house, do the paintings, and then see himself out. And he's like, oh, this is going to be so cool. I'm going to be like,
he's gonna freak out.
Here I am.
Ooh, look at me, Tommy. I'm going to scare you. I'm going to scare you so good.
Pumpkinhead loves finger paint.
Pumpkinhead the finger painter, finger painter.
Pumpkinhead the finger painter, he will scare your dad. Your dad is the judge, and he's going to die. Pumpkinheadless finger paint, all the doodah die.
Is going to die. Hey! So, fun story about that.
Fun story.
I thought it was really funny. It's like one of the funniest things you've ever seen. Because I didn't think about it that way. It didn't even cross my mind.
Really, though, because that was my first thought. Like things he did that.
Things like that happen in horror movies all the time, and I've just never really thought about it until now.
It's just such a funny
someone
concept.
has to do that. Because like at the beginning of the movie, the first death, there is like a little check mark on the wall, but it was obviously a blood wing. But that one like made sense because he was like,
yeah, exactly. While he was there, just like give us, and he's got like, it's almost like a calling card, like some kind of warning, right?
Yeah, it's a blood wing, right? And this one, they were just
all over the wall,
finger
painting.
It was modern art, man.
Yeah,
they should put that in the
gorgeous,
MoMA.
Really. So then Pumpky, he bursts through the doors, be like, here I am. My plan worked.
Did you like my art?
Looking insane as usual.
I used I used the blood of my enemies.
Oh my god.
Do you like it?
It's so good. I really enjoyed that. You good?
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I
Wiki. I want an animated like sequence of like Pumpkinhead going up to the house, and he's got like these long fingernails, and he like lock picks the door.
Yeah, exactly.
He like
because everything was intact. It wasn't like he broke in.
No, yeah.
So that means he had to like open
the
and
door.
he's tall.
Yeah.
He's huge. So he had to like duck through the doorway to do it safe.
And he like peeks around. Anybody home? He doesn't talk, but that's what he sounds like now. Oh, nobody's home. He has like a little bucket of pig's blood.
Yeah.
Got one here. Oh, I missed a spot. Oop, up here.
I can imagine him sitting back, like hands on his hips, like nope, needs more.
Needs more. He pulls up the head of one of his victims. What do you like it?
Yeah,
You
imagine
like it?
imagine like a paint bucket, except it's just a severed head upside down.
Yes.
And he's just sticking his finger into the neck hole. That's gross.
That's gross.
Yeah, then he turns it upside down to show it. Like, what do you think?
What do you think? You like it? The head starts talking back to him because,
No, but he's like puppeteering. He's like moving the mouth.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I like it.
Oh, I think
Wow.
that's beautiful.
That's art. It's really art.
I need that to
So
exist.
he bursts through the doors in a crazy fashion. The judge starts trying to fill him with bullets to no avail, of course, right?
Yeah.
And they really get their money's worth with this suit. Before we even get to the expectations, I'll say I was wrong. They showed a lot of this suit all the time.
And you could tell
And again, if you've got a crazy practical suit that looks that good, show it off, I guess.
one thing I noticed too is they did very little damage to this suit.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if there was any reason for that. My theory is that they only had one.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about it, but I'm sure you wouldn't want to do damage to a suit like that, right? Even if you had a couple of them, because I'm sure they're quite pricey to produce.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm assuming this movie didn't have a very big budget. So, but like
Makes
the
sense.
way they showed the bullet holes was literally just like they had him flinch. Sometimes it didn't show anything,
And then it would cut away,
and then it would cut back, and it had like a little bit of red paint.
Red, yeah. So
It
he would
wasn't
have
even
red
like
marks.
blood.
Yeah,
It
there
was
were
just
like
like little-
blood wounds.
It looked like he was shooting with paintballs.
So as Pumpkinhead is approaching him, he remembers when the judge was young, and this judge was the shitty guy that stabbed him a bunch when he was hanging right in front of him. So I'm like, honestly, I just wrote, now he die. Now he die.
Now he died.
Not as satisfying as I wanted it to be because I really hated him as a kid.
Yeah.
But it's good that he got justice, right? So,
Judge-tis.
So now all of the friends are in danger because Pumpkinhead starts going to them, right? Because he did have motive. He's like, I'm going to go in line here. I'm going to kill all the people who wronged me in the first place, and then I'm going to get the people who wronged my mom, basically, because the teens are responsible for her death, right?
For sure.
So now he's taking out the teens. So now there's just like a crazy sequence of them all running out through the woods, and they're kind of like split off, and it's not a very interesting chase sequence.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just a lot of random shots of them running, and then the Pumpkinhead is in hot pursuit of them. Yeah. He shoves like this giant rod through one of the girls.
This was nuts and unexpected.
Yeah. She
I
kinda
really
just,
liked it.
She kind of sits on the floor flailing and like turns on her stomach so that he just impales her right through her back.
Yep.
And then her boyfriend is right there, so a 2-for-1 special.
2-for-1.
Wham! Right into
Skewers
him
them up.
too. So skewers the two of them together.
Yeah, and he's like holding on to her butt.
It is
like,
weird.
Furiously.
He like impales the two of them, then impales them both of them into a tree, and they're like kind of hugging. But he's definitely like holding her butt.
Oh
with
yeah,
one
he
of
was
his
cradling
hands.
it. He had to cop one more feel just
Yeah.
before death. I thought this was funny because it felt so much like not Jimmy Fallon, Freddie Mercury. Nope. Who killed people in Friday the 13th?
Jason Voorhees?
No, the other guy.
Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, Jason
Oh
Voorhees.
my, Jesus. Wow, Freddie Mercury.
What if
We live in a world where Nightmare on Elm Street is exactly the same, but Freddy Krueger is Freddie Mercury.
in a world where Freddie Mercury enters your dreams?
So we mentioned that the cinematography is really good in this movie, right? The only one that felt a little weird to me was in this chase sequence. There were a lot of shots from underneath Pumpkinhead's head.
Oh yeah, I kind of liked it.
It was just kind of funny to me.
I don't know.
guess.
It was funny, but it also kind of worked for me personally.
It didn't take me out of it. It's just the one that I'm like, that's a funny shot, I guess.
It felt weird for 95,
But
maybe,
yeah,
or
now
94.
now there's only Danny and Jenny left, and bye Danny.
Danny
Pumpkinhead
and
just
Jenny.
grabs him and tears off his whole head with one hand, and it was awesome. I
And then,
loved that.
You know what he does after that? He
Goes and finger paints
more.
with
Yeah,
it?
he goes
Yeah.
and finger paints more houses.
So
The prosthetic looked awesome though.
yeah, so it looks really good, and he like throws it on the ground. Afterwards, it rolls around for a minute. Loved that shot. It was
So
very
good.
very good. But then Jenny runs to the mine shaft hole where he died in the first place, right?
Yeah.
And Pumpkinhead is about to kill her, but just as he's about to, the sheriff shows up. He's like, "Tommy, no!" And he starts using his real name towards him. He's like, "You're not like this. It's me.
Tommy,
Remember,
no.
I saved you when you
I
were a
saved
kid.
you. Remember
don't,
Fire Truck?
Don't hurt her. That's my
No.
daughter. She's not a
No,
part of
don't
this.
do
Those other
it.
kids.
No.
you already got your revenge. But that's honestly a more genuine performance than the Hallmark actor that they used.
Yes,
That's beautiful, right?
I'm just wiping away the tears.
Thank you. But yeah, it's a good thing that he saved Tommy as a kid, or this may not have worked, because then, did we even mention that he saved him when he was a kid?
I think so.
I don't remember. When he was a kid,
I think we got tangented.
Yeah, we got tangented. Sorry. In the flashback where it showed young sheriff, at the same hole, actually, Tommy was playing and he falls in and almost dies, and then the sheriff saves him.
Yeah.
Which I guess we should have mentioned earlier. It
was really
But
quick.
so it's a good thing that he did save him, because then it appeals to the kinder side of Tommy.
Yeah.
Because in all honesty, I know he's the one doing all of these vicious murders the whole time. He's
Yeah.
not a bad guy.
No, he's not.
He's getting vengeance on those teens that killed him when he was a little boy.
Yeah.
So I don't feel that bad.
I don't either.
No, exactly. So, honestly, everyone that is killed in this movie is pretty well justified.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he came back for revenge and got revenge.
Yeah.
There's no reason for me to not like
Got everything he
Pumpkinhead.
wanted, and he had his reasons, had good motive to do so anyway.
Killed the shittiest people.
So it works. He doesn't kill Jenny, but then the town mob is here now.
Ugh.
And the town members don't heed the word of the sheriff and just start shooting him to death. Somehow he gets hung in a similar fashion to when he was getting stabbed as a kid. And so they just fill him with bullets, and then he falls into the mine just like he did before.
And then you know what? Then you know what happened?
What happened next?
He exploded. Why did that happen?
Yeah, the mine just lights on fire as he falls in. Why?
I hate it when movies do this.
But it's even I wouldn't even say it exploded. It just lit on fire, because it wasn't like a big kaboom.
No.
It just
It's like
flames
their
come up.
pyro budget wasn't fully used. So they're like, no, we need more fire. Put more fire in this
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Wait, what works? Pretend someone threw a grenade or something.
exactly.
Just show it at least.
Exactly. Pyro Pete over here was like, I really need hey guys, we need more fire. I got all these explosives. I got these pyrotechnics. What are we gonna do?
Just throw the mine.
Yeah, there we go. So that's what happened. And then it's the next day. They're covering up the hole, and
Finally.
I know it took them long enough. I feel like people have at least the kid died in there. So you should have
Yeah.
covered it up in the first place. And then the sheriff finds his toy from when he was a kid, because that's how he found Tommy in the first place. Because he's like, oh, my toy went missing, and then he finds Tommy playing with it.
yeah.
And then it just kind of has a very abrupt ending. It's just zooming
It's
in
just
on the
kinda
totem that the
over.
witch gave him.
Yeah.
And then there's the soft rock credit, the music over the credits, which is done by Roger Clinton.
Yeah, dude.
It was
such a bop.
So yeah, that's the end of Pumpkinhead 2, Blood Wings.
You know, it was a movie that we watched for sure.
Yeah, do you have the kill count for us?
12.
12.
Felt like more.
Felt like more.
Should have been more.
Should have been more.
But 12 actually makes sense because there was 6 and 6.
Oh, yeah, I guess that actually does track. So where do we sit on our expectations? Shall we discuss this?
I guess we can.
You started this first time, so we'll start with you.
I guess start.
That's you, yeah.
What did I get? What did I do to get this honor?
It's just, you've been a good boy this episode. You did your finger paints real good.
My first expectation was they were going to rely on the monster design and not give anything new. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like
they
that tracked.
100% just relied on this monster design.
Totally. Yeah, so I said good intentions, poorly executed. And I honestly feel like the biggest things holding back this movie were some pretty bland performances from the actors and just just questionable plot line and script writing for it, But I do feel like it had good intentions, and they were kind of poorly executed, right?
Yeah, for sure.
What was your next?
The acting will be rough. Actually, not really. It didn't really bother me. I felt like the cop was pretty rough.
Yeah.
He was just kind of stale,
And that's the
some
best
people
way I
were
could describe
Muppets.
it. They weren't bad. It was just stale, bland, boring.
Yeah, that's basically
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
I said great practical effects, and I'm like, for sure, honestly, the Pumpkinhead himself was incredible, and the practical bits of gore that they showed always impressed. I specifically
really
liked
cool.
Danny's head getting ripped off, right? I
Yes.
really liked that bit.
The really rushed plot and script. I mean, it was 5 years after the first movie,
Right.
But it didn't feel thought out enough. I was confused over obvious, should have been obvious things, right? But I don't know. I don't feel like it was rushed.
Yeah. That makes sense.
They just maybe didn't take time.
You
know
absolutely.
what
I said outlandish kills, and only some were very outlandish. They were mostly what you would expect, just the Pumpkinhead coming in and tearing into someone, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, the one of the man getting pecked with the chickens was pretty out there and fun, and the one
Yeah.
of the head getting ripped off again, those are pretty outlandish.
Yeah.
So I was kind of right on that one.
For sure. Give me them 80s off-screen deaths. I mean, yes and no, because we got off-screen deaths, but then we had like guts and body parts flying all over the place. So it worked.
Yeah, exactly.
It bridged that
not in the
gap
traditional
really well.
sense. Yeah, I liked them a lot.
Me too.
I just said campy fun, and I'd agree with that. It was a pretty campy movie, and the camp was fun.
Yeah. Lack of tension. Yeah, man. I mean, there was a point where we knew the end was coming up because you just feel it.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was
you
like
feel when a movie intends to climax.
Yeah, and I think I made the comment.
Really get you there.
I think I commented that I was like, "Wow, we're about to climax," and I don't
feel like
no foreplay.
Yeah, exactly. No, just straight to
you just went right to
didn't
it.
do the work.
Way to rush.
I said not enough Pumpkinhead on screen. It'll take a while to see him. No, I was wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong.
They gave us his whole holiness
What a
pretty early
fool.
on, and then they just kept showing us all of Pumpkinhead's glory.
never stopped showing him.
What were your surprises?
The cinematography was one of my big
shocking,
surprises.
right?
I really loved all of the different shots. It was not boring, and it wasn't like bad. It didn't take me out of it. It most of the time pulled me back in.
Yeah, absolutely.
The kills, 100%. I really enjoyed all the kills in this
So
one.
fun.
The music.
It stood
But
out.
not for a good reason, but it
surprises
sure
are not always
surprised me.
good.
Yeah, and then my final surprise was that just the beginning and how shocking it was.
It was a lot.
Like watching this like deformed boy
Poor kid.
get stabbed. I don't like that. It
Yeah.
really made me uncomfortable.
It was hard to watch.
and made the rest of the movie like I feel like it brought the movie down for me.
Yeah, and
You
then
know?
it was kind of hard to sit in the rest of it because like the rest of the movie was not in that same vein. That
No,
vibe,
no, absolutely.
Mhm. Those are your surprises?
Is that enough? Do you want me to make
I just
more?
mean like, is that your
Surprise!
last one?
They get you?
So my surprises, I was surprised by how much of Pumpkinhead we saw and how soon. Because that was like totally
for
against
sure.
my
I'm right there
expectation.
with you.
Right? That was pretty shocking. I was also surprised by the great cinematography. The selections of music throughout did surprise me.
Yes, dude.
Usually they worked, but sometimes they stood out as either strange or funny. And again, like you would have to argue to make them work in most of the scenes, right?
Yeah,
Which
for
shouldn't have
sure.
to do with the music. The Bloodwings calling card thing felt a little forced to make it work. Just like having this creature use a calling card was weird. I liked the reveal of them having a club called Red Wings, but it felt like an excuse for the subtitle of the film. Like
for
Bloodwings didn't really fit very well at all. And then I was surprised at how much of the flashing lights was used. It was like really excessive there.
Oh yeah, there was a ton. I forgot about that. We didn't even mention that. I mean, maybe that's a negative for the cinematography, but or maybe the lighting design.
Yeah,
But it
just
was
effects work,
too
lighting.
much. Like flashing lights don't usually bother me, but like there are friends that we watch movies with that do get quite bothered by them.
Pretty
And
much every sequence that had the Pumpkinhead in it had flashing lights.
and they were big stroby flashing lights, not
small.
necessary
Yes,
at
exactly.
all. So
just like
Thanks
trying
for
to
letting me rant about
trying
that.
to add to the chaos, I guess, to make the pumpkin look better. But like the Pumpkinhead itself looked awesome, so like I didn't really need that for it. Tell me your verdict.
man, this is it's weird.
I know we start with you usually. Now I get to chill. Now I get to sit and wait and pass judgment on your decision. Where are you at?
So I actually had a hard time coming to a verdict.
Me
with this
too,
one.
100%.
I actually through this episode I have been back and forth, and I think I know where I land. I
Okay.
think I'm going to sit at Borable.
Borable? Okay.
For this one. It wasn't good enough to like enjoy with a group of friends and have it be horrible. Because when I rate a movie horrible, I'm like I can watch this bad movie with a group of people or with maybe by myself and have a good time, laugh at its pain. Like this movie didn't have enough of those moments to keep me entertained.
Yeah. Mhm.
It wasn't boring enough to be bad, but it wasn't fun enough to be better.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of right in the middle.
Yeah, I get that.
What about you?
For me, my verdict, I'm going to say that was almostable. That was almostable for me.
Yeah.
It's just a couple points from horrible for me. I did almost give it horrible, but it was just missing that. It had a very slapped together plot hole heavy storyline with weird music, but the Pumpkinhead sequences were fun and entertaining. The effects were great, and I never found myself bored.
Yeah.
But the stale performances from the actors could not give this Pumpkinhead my horrible seal of approval, right? So, but it was very close for me. I could recommend it in certain situations, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're watching with a fun group of people, I could say you could have a good time.
I feel
But-
like if you wanted to do like a Pumpkinhead marathon, I would definitely be like, just watch that
check
one
it out.
too.
Yeah,
it's worth it.
Yeah, exactly. So just not quite.
But it will
horrible
never
for me.
ever be a first movie that I say watch this movie. I would actually say watch Rawhead Rex over this
Yes.
one because, and I mean, I hate to keep comparing them, but they are very similar. But because like in that one, the kills weren't as exciting, but there were so many shocking, hilarious moments. In
And
that
there's
movie.
cool lore to that one too.
Yeah,
that
this
really
one
rocked.
didn't do anything.
It really wanted to, and I feel like the witch character was pretty useless as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that my friend?
Oh, it is me. It is Count.
Oh, what's
Olivia.
up, you sexy
Blah,
little
blah,
devil?
it
Did
is
you
me.
hear? Did you hear that Science Jim has a girlfriend?
Oh, I helped set them up. It was beautiful.
What?
Yeah, it was a meet cute, and he got to meet the girl, and I got some meat on the side, if you know what I mean.
So you did like a double date thing, and you just ate your date.
Oh, absolutely, it is what happened. Yes, and she was delicious. Do you want your delicious trivia? Trivia, blah blah.
I'm kind of worried.
No, don't worry, it's fine. I'm a fucking vampire, man. Come on.
That's true, and I
What do
guess
you
Science
expect?
Jim's from hell. So, how
We
did
have demons and vampires and ballhead Bexes and
I,
ghosts.
I'm very curious to how Math Jane took that.
Yeah.
Was she cool with it? Or?
I mean, she didn't. I did not make her aware of it. No, I'm not going to go tell everyone that I'm killing people, Derek. What are you thinking?
Okay,
It's a
calm down,
vampire
buddy.
secret.
I love you.
I love
Bye.
you too. Bye. So, trivia for this movie here. Judge Dixon's house was the same location used in Motel Hell from 1980.
Oh, fun.
Which is, according to the internet, a better movie. It's sitting at 67%. And that movie was, the synopsis for this is, a seemingly friendly farmer and his sister kidnap unsuspecting travelers and bury them alive,
Whoa.
using them to create the, quote, special meat they are famous for.
Whoa!
Yeah,
I just
so-
looked up the poster for that.
The poster
movie.
looks pretty rad,
Bonkers.
right? Yeah, I'd like to watch it. Unfortunately, it's too good for this podcast, but this one kicks ass, actually. And I thought I saw it earlier during the movie, but I didn't say anything because I didn't want to be crazy. The Book of the Dead prop from Army of Darkness, 1992,
What? Wait.
is on display inside Miss Osie's house.
Oh, that's awesome!
Yeah.
Like the actual book.
The actual one, because KNB Effects worked on both of the films.
Oh, that's fun.
yeah. So the Necronomicon is in there.
Oh, we
which is
could have got
really
some
cool.
duding. I love angry.
Oh, Angry Duding, yeah. It was shot in 24 days. That's how. I don't know
you
why.
know, checks out.
Maybe better movies take longer, but like I always expect that movies take quite some time to shoot.
I don't know. I just really think it like varies.
Yeah. So yeah, 24 days to shoot this one. The witch's house was built and burned on Sable Ranch, requiring permission from the state of California to selectively trim old protected oak trees.
Oh my goodness. That explains why I noticed something in the credits. There were people credited as craftsmen.
Yeah.
Or like as woodcutters and stuff. I was really confused.
Because they had to build a whole house to burn down, right?
That's fun.
According to the late Jeff Burr on the DVD's audio commentary, a few short seconds were cut from the film in order to avoid an NC-17 rating.
Whoa,
yeah.
what?
Yeah, apparently these were mainly from Pumpkinhead clawing up the farmer in the first death scene, and then from the monster's own death at the end.
Oh.
Yeah. So I guess there were some really graphic scenes from those that were cut,
Man,
just
I
so
really
it
wish
wouldn't
we
be
could see
rated
those.
NC-17. And then my final bit of trivia here was Kane Hodder. He played one of the Knox farmers that was killed at the chicken farm.
Ah, yes.
And Kane Hodder, if you don't know, played Jason Voorhees in 4 different Friday the 13th movies.
More like Jason Moore, please.
Jason Moore, please.
I'm never going to get tired of saying that.
So he actually played Jason in the one that we watched, right?
Yeah.
The Jason Takes Manhattan.
What a movie.
Yeah, so that's those. Derek, we've got a kind of exciting movie as our next one, right?
Yeah, we're gonna go over to the little movie theater. We're gonna watch Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, so we were initially intending to do a not so horrible for this one, but then the reviews came in, folks, and it's sitting at a 26% on Rotten Tomatoes. So that's very well within our range.
Before we go into that, let's talk about our history with the game real quick. Like, I've played 3 of them, and I'm pretty versed on the lore. I loved Five Nights at Freddy's.
I played about 3 minutes of the first game, and I said that was fun, and I turned it off. So I know very, very little about it.
So there you go, going into it.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
where I sit. I am trepidatious, but I feel like I'm going to have a good time.
But what's fun about this is we usually in our rankings of this, the audience and the critics sit pretty close to each other. The critics is at a 26, but the audience rating is at 89%.
That's insane.
So the audience is way, way up
it's like
there
what
for
happened
this
with the
one.
Mario movie.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a very similar
It's very
situation.
divided there. So we'll let you know. We'll get all
Yeah.
into the nitty gritty of Five Nights at Freddy's from 2023.
And that will be next week, because don't forget, right after you finish this episode,
you got
go on over.
homework to do. Go on and finish up. We got our Halloween special.
Yep.
We're watching Halloween. I think it's Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers.
We're going to go watch that right now.
Yeah, which is the lowest rated movie of the
All time.
Halloween. So of all time.
No, I'm just kidding.
8 is the lowest it goes.
8 is as low as
But-
it goes. There's no such thing as 0.
But if you choose not to listen, if that's too much to do today, I get it. That's fine. But
Hey, listen, you got a whole week.
It is Halloween 31st. It is October 31st. Happy Halloween to all of you.
Happy Halloween!
Have a safe one. thank you for listening to this
for
podcast.
joining us for sequel month.
Please join
It's
us
so
on all
fun.
of our social medias if you choose to do so. We're on Instagram at that_was_horrible, Twitter at TWH Podcast, Facebook at That Was Horrible Podcast, and YouTube at That Was Horrible.
Yeah, we've had so many new listeners this month and
Yes,
so much
thank you.
great
welcome
feedback.
on board. If this is the first one you're listening to, welcome.
So happy to have
It's
you.
chaos. It always is. I'd like to
It's
say it's
fun.
different each time, but it is. But it's always more of the same bullshit.
It's the
right?
same but different.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you for choosing to listen to us and our nonsense as we give you the cliff notes of horror.
And I hope you have a great Halloween. I hope you laugh. I hope you cry. I hope you don't cry.
Don't
I hope
cry.
you have a great
Don't
time.
cry. It's Halloween.
And
It's a great
even
time.
though Halloween's over, just stay spooky the rest of the
Stay
year.
spooky. We will stay spooky,
We
and
will
we will
stay
be along
spooky.
with you
This
on your
isn't going
spooky
anywhere.
journey. We're not going nowhere.
Bye.
Bye.